You can see my little head sticking out there. How are you? My name is Joanne. I'm a law student. Yes, I've got this big green screen background on. How are you? Hope you're well. It's a late night. It's 9:40, so I might have a little bit of time in me. Normally I'd be looking to go to bed, but I'm up and about. I did have an afternoon nap today, so in fact I slept most of the day for some reason. I don't know. I just blame everything on perimenopause. It just seems very appropriate at the moment. Couple of things. So today we learned that Senator Reynolds has launched fresh new action against Brittany Higgins while her defamation case is still happening. And Katie Joy went on Sir Morbids panel again, and they had some mixed results. Hello, Mama Kay. So let's start off with there's lots of commentary on this this case, and I in my opinion, this should have been settled. But anyway, so she said, this is from news.com. Senator Reynolds launches fresh legal action against Brittany Higgins. So it could leave what's left of her Commonwealth payout exposed. So Brittany Higgins was essayed in the workplace after hours and promotional order, and essentially Senator Reynolds was her boss, and Brittany Higgins felt that she wasn't being supported enough. She put that on social media, and Senator Reynolds is suing her for defamation. One of the things that happened, there was a change of government, and the new government actually decided that she was injured in the workplace and deserved to have a payout. This payout was confidential, but this has come out, I think, in one of the lawsuits that's been around. So Senator Reynolds has hit Brittany Higgins with fresh legal action over the trust that holds part of the proceeds of a multi-million-dollar compensation payment from the Commonwealth. The Brittany Higgins Project Trust that was created the day after Miss Higgins entered into a deed of settlement with the Commonwealth. So she started this trust fund up. The payment was made in relation to lost earnings, medical bills, legal bills, and the duress she endured. The writ shows Miss Higgins retired as the trustee of the Brittany Higgins Protective Trust on February 23, 2023, and the trust was handed over to Power Blazers Proprietary Limited, a company owned by herself, her father, and a friend of hers. The writ claims transfer was made by Miss Higgins with the intention of defeating or delaying creditors. So the allegation is that she has stepped down as director around the time that to prevent being able to hand over the money for legal fees. So they're trying to say it's anyway. Outside the court on Thursday, Senator Reynolds' lawyer, Martin Bennett, told reporters that the writ was filed to start proceedings to set aside the capitalisation of the trust. We seek to have what remains of the $2.4 million returned into the estate of Miss Higgins in the event Senator Reynolds is successful in this action. It'd be available under the Civil Judgments and Enforcements Act to recover. So she's suing Miss Higgins and her husband over a number of social media posts, and they were critical of the handling of it. So yes, so Brittany Higgins is also pregnant and is in France at the moment. Now she has been deemed, I think, by the doctors unable to travel. So this is I think this one is, this is WA Today. Now this case is in the WA Supreme Court and it's not publicised, so we have to rely on the media reporting. The thing is, last month, the senator succeeded in a bid to access the deed governing Higgins Trust. So they're trying to get hold of that money and put it into so that they can get it because she thinks she's going to win. So Higgins and her father have a 50% shareholding in the writ. Reynolds alleges the transfer was executed by Higgins in an attempt to defeat any potential creditors that might pursue her. Reynolds is now demanding orders voiding and reversing the transfer, claiming she is a creditor of Higgins. The pursuit comes as the four-wheel trial in their year-long defamation row comes to a close. Now, I believe, but she's so due to medical grounds, because she's pregnant, she's not going to testify. Now, journalist Samantha Maiden has been in the box, has the Australian Police, Federal Police, and they have given some interesting evidence. There was portions played of the interview. Flanked by lawyers, Maiden told the WSA pre-record she recalled hosting hearings. Higgins told Maiden she felt as if Reynolds hated her and branded the meeting they had alongside Chief of Staff Brenda Brown in April 2019 a box-ticking exercise. That would be the sole meeting the trio had regarding a security breach. She'd been employed for only 2 weeks when the alleged when the incident happened, and she believed the former defence minister kept her at arm's length out of fear the incident might cost her the portfolio she'd worked her entire life for. She was quite nice, her, Reynolds and Fiona. I mean, I didn't feel it was a fair conversation on the basis I had been terrified since I was very new. She didn't know me or like me, really. I was just a problem for her. She avoided me in photos. I was toxic to her. She hated me, and she does to this day. So there's a whole pile of Higgins' partner talked about, I'm letting this be Higgins' decision, but she's drafting a plan for you. So they've gone and tried to implicate the journalist in what they call is a takedown of the minister, which has not happened. So during the cross-examination by Higgins' lawyer, Maiden recorded a conversation in which Reynolds told her she did not know whether the allegations were true because she was not in the room. A former colleague of the senators had testified, Senator Payne, and I believe the AFP testified today, and they have contradicted a lot of the timeline that Reynolds has stated. So here is, I mean, we get to the point, who do you believe? I don't know who to believe anymore. So the court heard today from the first and only witness Miss Higgins' legal team have called. So a former top brass with the AFP said she was quite shocked that a meeting occurred in the potential crime scene. Miss Close, who'd left the AFP in 2020 after 33 years, gave evidence today. She told the court she was asked to speak with the senator about Miss Higgins' claims and attended a meeting in the then Defence Minister's office a fortnight after the incident. She then said the senator pointed to the couch in the office near the table at which they were seated and told her this is where it took place. When the minister said it and pointed at it, I was thinking, we're sitting in the middle of a potential crime scene that hasn't been forensically examined, she said. I was also concerned about the security implications of two people being in the senator's office having sex on the couch in her office. She said she was particularly concerned for Miss Higgins' welfare, that the ambulance had not been called by security staff who found her, and the fact that she was inebriated. Back in the witness box, Miss Close said alarm bells also sounded in her mind, that she'd been told that the couch had been steam cleaned. That was unusual, that there may have been some sort of DNA type material available if it had been reported to the AFP in a timely way. And the cross-examination from Mr. Bennett, Miss Close said she was unaware the couch had not actually been steam cleaned, nor that Higgins had been referred to an R crisis centre by security team on April 8. She said she was very pleased to hear Miss Higgins received the referral because her welfare had been her main concern. So Mr. Bennett's also calling to some type of psychiatrist, and this is the psychiatrist who examined Miss Higgins, and for the basis of the payout from the government, they want to put him under scrutiny. And apparently there's two different versions or two different reports from two different doctors. So the more I read about this, the anger I get. Reynolds needs help. She's on some type of vendetta, that I can see. But fortunately, the justices refused to let the doctor be called, agreeing with Miss Young that his evidence could be too remote from the core of the case, and that could further lead to further subsidiary issues being developed by Reynolds' legal team. So they're finished giving evidence. So they come back next Wednesday and they'll start closing submissions, which is going to be interesting. So I know there's somebody that, well, that's a really good point, Plan to Create. Why isn't she suing Bruce? She should be suing Bruce because he's the one that started it all. I'm finding it very interesting, though, that well, all the money will be gone in fees, correct? Well, but what happens? Has Reynolds actually thought what will happen if she loses? You know, there's like, you know, this is the stuff. This is one of the people. This is a commenter on. It says former AFP Deputy Commissioner Leanne Close just confirmed that her notes were accurate and has repeated them verbatim whilst under oath. This means Linda Reynolds has lied to the ACT Supreme Court, the Federal Court, the Parliament, the WA Supreme Court about when she first knew the incident was a potential SA. Checkmate. Intriguing that there's no evidence about her meeting with Wyborn pre-Lerman trial and her many texts with him. Wybrow's own chronology of the recorded text of Leanne Close's notes. Why didn't he clarify the inconsistencies with Reynolds then? He was a servant of the court. So there is a whole lot of stuff said. So this is a chronological of events, and it's been pointed out that she was questioned by police. It says knew about it and questioned by police in 2019, only 3 days after Bruce Lerman's attack. So this was a master chronology that's been shared here. I have concerns from info I've heard that this may have happened before or could happen again. I was referring to info that alleged victim may have been drugged. So now we're getting the fact that in a brief, Paul and I left the minister's office. That now there's further allegations. So I don't know how this is going to go. I think there's lots of questions, but for weeks and months and months and months and months since this case started, the judge said to both of them, you need to settle this. You do not want this to go to court. And we're saying why. But so I have it is my opinion that the only person that's destroying the reputation of Linda Reynolds is Linda Reynolds herself, because she's coming across as a vindictive old woman, in my opinion, very vindictive. She leaves Parliament at the end of the year. She's going to get her parliamentary pension. She's going to get a pension. I think she gets a Defence Force pension as well. So she's not going to be hard done by. You know, so you agree that she's a vindictive. I don't know what's wrong with her. To try and say, I mean, there's a parliamentary Hansard that's gone around social media where she actually said she wondered whether she could have given her more support. Has she just so the Hansard, but it's not always admissible though, you know, whether it's parliamentary privilege. So it's just really bizarre what's going on. We're going to get on to anyone see Katie Joy on Sir Morbids panel today? Is that still up? Today, is that there? Oh, yes, 3 minutes. Also, perimenopause on the case. I think he knows. Oh, I'm blaming everything on perimenopause at the moment. Oh, I either want to punch up everybody or I just want to sit in a corner and cry. And I can, it can be one emotion after the other. I'm just trying to find. Katie Joy was in the chat a long time before she actually got in there. Well, that was really interesting. Because I did too, but he was talking about false takeaway. You have to, here's some of the chat. The chat hasn't here. So here she's got, this is a job, not a hobby for most of us. Miss Balls is in the chat and is just nailing it all. No, it's like when people tell me to stop talking about the Doggers. Then she says, or they falsely accuse me of crimes I haven't committed. Do both, Joe. I didn't hear this. So it is apparently, oh, there she is there. Apparently, Gypsy Rose has been copywriting. None of the above will make sense. 2 messages in one. I don't know. Oh, she said, link me, give me a link. Now, she also had said, she said her son was, her buddy was, she was just putting her buddy to bed. Her buddy was just, she was on bedtime and her buddy was nearly asleep. So I'm assuming she's laying, and I don't know whether Balls' messages got deleted, but Balls was sort of saying stuff like, her 11-year-old, she said, I think she says, I think my kid's asleep. I don't know whether they've got rid of Miss Balls, but Miss Balls had comments like, she's laying next to her 11-year-old in bed and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I think my kid is asleep here, she says. All right. Just trying to see where she comes in. She's there. There she is there. Gee whiz, she came in. She's not in there. She comes in around here. Sir Morbid. Oh, yes, that's right. Sir Morbid sort of says, see, give me a sec. I can sneak out when he's asleep, she says. I can sneak out when he's asleep. Buddy is falling asleep. It says up here, Buddy is falling asleep. Yeah. All right. So here we go.
Okay. Let me know. Conspiracy says you're going to have to drop off soon. Any last words, Conspiracy, or do you want to hear what Katie Joy has to share in this?
Yeah, I'm going to still listen, but I'm going to have to get off here because I have to go.
Okay. Well,
no, she didn't use her vial.
You've got my info.
Oh, so there you go. Block Balls. She supports cult leaders, she says. Now, there is a bit on here that I'm going to have to copy because she talks about her court case, and I'm getting my impression, I'm left with the impression that the summary judgment is hers. I've just checked again. There's no fees or anything up, so I don't know. So anyway.
Well, to contact me.
She said, block Balls. She supports cult leaders.
I'm going to get a hold of Ken and see if we could do the retraction first, and that might take a bit. But hold off on that appeal, or send me the appeal that you're going to submit.
Okay.
So I can make sure, okay, this will go through,
Yeah.
And then I'll say, who knows? We'll help each other out there.
Yeah.
He does tell people off for giving for giving her a hard time. Well, she did post to say that she was treated unfairly on Morbid and she didn't get to speak a word and she was never going back onto a panel, Mama Kay. That's what she said.
I'll definitely message you.
Okay, cool.
All right. Bye, guys.
Okay. Sorry. Does that work?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Okay.
I don't know how long this is. I don't know how long this goes for either.
I was like looking in the wrong spot for how to stop my cam. Sorry about that. I don't StreamYard very much.
No problem. You're here. And what do you think about all this? A little bit of words of wisdom from somebody who's been around on these streets.
Am I not hearing stuff?
Can you hear?
Apparently, KJ didn't get. She never gets to speak. Apparently, short order. She doesn't get to speak. Anyway. And this is the thing. I bring the evidence. You can make up your mind whether she gets to speak or not.
Hear me or no?
Silence was weird.
That was really
Oh, can you
weird.
hear me or
Everyone-
no? I'm sorry.
No.
Everyone muted.
No,
I was just asking if there's
awkward.
words of wisdom that you wanted to share, or what are your thoughts about what's going on here?
Well, first of all,
I want live chat replay because I want all of Balls' comments.
Nina, I just want to apologize to you because Gypsy and Christy.
Yes, she's apologizing, by the way. Oh no, is this the one she's claiming she didn't speak? No. It was the other one that she claimed she didn't speak. It's the other one she claimed she didn't get to speak on, but I'm hoping that I'm seeing if I can find Balls in here because Balls. Oh, yeah, Balls. He's almost 12. That's sick. I'm talking about her being anyway.
He spent a lot of time trying to tell me how terrible you were. And I never got really involved in the back and forth, but I know I posted a single video. And
Katie says here, Balls wants to be my bestie down here. Balls sounds like she has a huge crush on KJ, apparently. So yes, she's making an apology at the moment.
I actually took the video down because I felt really bad because you didn't deserve any of that. And I have gone on my TikTok and on my channel and apologized, but I
And she says her whole panel is dedicated to me. This is about Balls.
just want to apologize to you here since you're right here. I have a lot of information I can provide you directly from text messages. And
She also said that she was prepared to be a witness for Nina about the harassment. So, two of the creators have been struck by copyright by Gypsy. And then it says Balls has no morals. I don't know whether you can see what she's got here. Whole channel is dedicated to me because Balls has no morals. I just wanted to type "Fight Me, Luca" in it over and over again.
from text messages to whatever that you might need, from Bree talking about wanting to take your channel down to Christy and Gypsy talking about you. It's pretty much that's all they cared about was you. And actually, Gypsy told me that she was in therapy because of you, because you were her biggest bully.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll reach out. Gypsy's in therapy because of Gypsy.
I know, right? What is with the audio here?
Morbid, if you're talking, no one can hear you.
And Morbid did actually say, by the way, that he doesn't strike anyone, and he's happy for us to use his stuff, but I'm still going to talk it and make it fair use. Yes, Balls did, but she ignored it. But so the other thing is there is going around that she was served today either with a cease or desist or something, because allegedly she took, if you watch her videos, she's had to blur all the images she got because she took them from the photographer's website of the wedding, and she's been told she can't use them. She's been told she can use them if she gives credit to the photographer. But rather than credit the photographer, she's blurred everything because we know she doesn't like giving credit to people. So I don't know whether I've checked again, because she can be pocket served in Minnesota. It wouldn't be appearing. So there's nothing on the court file. So we don't know.
Is there something going on with the audio?
Morbids broke.
And then she says Balls probably wants to marry me, and then says Balls isn't my type.
I don't know. My
Gypsy.
mic was echoing earlier. I don't know if it's still.
Thanks for the
okay.
dono.
Is my
You're
mic
good.
okay?
You're good.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Do you have any other advice, Katie, regarding the false copyright?
Oh, so yeah, so the false
Yes, all photographs are owned by the photographer, and KJ watermarked someone else's copyright. Correct. And that's where the issue was. The fact that she's put a watermark on the photos. And she's also said, credit me. I think, how she says, make sure you credit without a crystal ball. They weren't hers to begin with. So she's in trouble for that at the moment, I believe. So,
Thanks for the dono.
Nina. How many she gave you? How many strikes? 2, 3?
2.
2. Okay. So I know you're talking about potentially wanting to do the law stuff, but how long are the videos that she struck?
I don't remember how long they are, but I do know that one of them, it was like 48 seconds of the video. Another one, it was like 4 minutes, but there was a lot of commentary throughout it and after it. I think the one that they will be able to get me on is.
And she says here, I don't like girls that support cult leaders. And then apparently someone else says Balls wants to sit in a tree with WOACB kissing. And then to that she says, I don't like girls that support cult leaders.
The fact that I uploaded the Sana video just by itself.
Yes. So did you do this? Did they strike
And she says she's not my type.
you on YouTube? Is that where these strikes are happening?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So you're I recognize that you've got a pretty decent sized TikTok, but your YouTube is a bit smaller. So you must be trying to build your YouTube. Is that what I'm?
It's whatever on YouTube for me, because it's like I'm making good money even without a huge following.
Sure. No, I wasn't totally sure. I just
No,
didn't
so
know.
in my mind, I wasn't stressing over it because it's not.
It's still
She says Balls is my biggest fan. But see, Nina's just said that she earns quite a bit of money with a smaller platform. You're going to hear, that's what, you can hear the reaction in Katie's voice.
extra money though. It's significant enough for a month.
I just didn't know if you were primarily TikTok and then YouTube was because everyone kind of has their one platform that they're like
I feel
I'm
like mine are
primarily.
both. I feel like
It's
I have
equal?
primary. Yeah,
I thought you
because
were more
I'm-
of a TikToker for sure.
but
Yeah, I
I'm
would thought you were more
making
TikTok.
more money on YouTube with less followers.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, YouTube actually has pays higher CPM, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing I'll tell you about the difference between TikTok and YouTube when you're uploading content is you can't re-upload somebody else's content and not provide any commentary. So if you do that and
And then because Sir Morbids said that he'd reach out for Ken, and so Katie says, Ken, come talk to me. And everyone's saying, no, don't talk to her. But I would not surprise me if she's on there to try and get a link to Ken, to be honest with you, so she can get the scoop. She wants the scoop.
you don't share any commentary, then obviously she can strike that and get a valid strike from that. And you won't be able to really fight that one.
Yeah. Nina, the lives, the TikTok lives that you re-upload, I would stay away from that because it's just not safe. Even though she probably doesn't have copyright on those, let's be real. But I would stay away from it personally on this platform because it could
YouTube
go into
is so
And then she's also says Nina blocked her. Nina's blocked Katie, and then says no, she doesn't make that much. So she's still saying that people aren't making
content.
Yeah, YouTube is really finicky about it, and on TikTok you can do it, and they just say this video can't be monetized.
Thanks for the dono.
But on YouTube, what happens is if you do too many of those, they can basically just say, well, you're not following the partner platform, and we're going to kick you out, and you're not monetized. Period. And then they can also just pull you just for re-uploading because they have with the monetization.
That is not what the only videos that they were able to come after was the ones that she had on her page
on YouTube.
Yeah,
yes,
her shorts and little clips.
Yes,
yeah.
Those are...
Well, you can actually strike anything on YouTube. So even if the video isn't on YouTube, if you have this if you have an Instagram live that you that's on your Instagram and someone uploads it here, you can still, if you wanted to, most people don't, but you could still strike that and be like, no, that's my video on Instagram. But if it's easier when the content's already on YouTube because of the new system that they have that says this person has uploaded 100% of your content. With the shorter videos that you're posting, my biggest recommendation is one, do an appeal. It takes 2 minutes, and all you have to do is say that you're using
He called you a troll, did he? Oh wow! Maybe we need to rename ourselves the trolls. Oh. The trolls. Oh yeah, he told everybody off for being mean to Katie. I saw that, and then my mother rang, and then I didn't get back. Here we go. The trolls. Oh. Oh dear. Look at the end. Look, it seems to be anybody will use or be nice to anybody. Anybody will use anybody to get what they want from them. I'm discovering that. I know, right? That's you guys. Great shot. The trolls.
Purpose of the video is
I don't even know how long she was on. I don't even know how long Katie was on for.
transformative. It's providing commentary for educational and news purposes.
And it falls
So-
under the Fair Use Act.
Yes, and it falls under the fair use guidelines. Someone on TikTok tried to take one of my sister wives.
I've since had it back and forth via email with him. News, educational and news apparently.
Videos down because I shared like 20 seconds of her TikTok video. And so all I did was countered it and said, listen, like 27 minutes of this video is mine. And she's trying to take this down for 30 seconds, whatever. But like, as long as you're providing like transformative use, you're talking, you're providing commentary, you're sharing. And that's what I've watched of your videos. That's what you do. So everything that you're doing, if it's like the videos I see of you on TikTok, it should fall under fair use. So that's really just, that's all you have to say. And you don't have to be super detailed. I mean, they give you like 5,000 words, but you just have to say like, I'm providing.
Yeah, I mean, you could be short, but I would be as detailed as possible. I would talk about my
So
attorney.
don't.
I would
So
say my
only
attorney
go
advised me of
after
this.
the two.
I'm willing to go to court to fight this. And
Yeah.
YouTube will be like,
So
okay,
here's
go to court.
Here's the thing is Gypsy doesn't like, I can tell you just based on having known her and knowing the family, she doesn't think ahead. She doesn't think forward. She doesn't think at all, frankly. She's very impulsive. And with you, it's personal and she has a vendetta.
Well, someone's gifted me a membership, so I got. Okay, I don't mind. Yeah, I'm happy to read. I got a gifted membership for Sir Morbids, so I just generally watch it or listen to it. But yeah, it's interesting. But
She hates you. Like that's all she and Brie care about is destroying you and taking your channel and deplatforming you. Like that's her goal. It's insane how much they hate you.
And I'm going to address the chat. Look, I'm really like laid back with chat and stuff, and people are saying,
Oh yeah, some of my trolls have showed up, and I don't really care about.
And so,
They-
like, I really don't care about people's past. Like,
some of her trolls showed up. There we go. She says some of my trolls have shown up. Here's where he's about to turn off. And I do have. Who's going to come on? Not sure. I have sped this up.
according to YouTube, because it doesn't bother me, nor does it take up my life. I'm not going to look into Katie Joy, and I don't care because I don't get
First
the
of
news
all,
from
what I'll
YouTube.
say is when I first came onto YouTube, I used to strike people, and I did, and I learned very easily, quickly.
Okay, well, whatever. I don't care. I just
You
know
don't do
that
that,
she's
but the
covering
other thing
Gypsy,
is
and that's
still-
all that I care about right now.
The other thing the trolls like to do is accuse me of crimes I haven't committed. They are generally from fundamentalist cults. They support cult leaders. They support criminals. So they're usually just accusing me of things that they're doing. So just if they're accusing me of something, that's probably them committing the crime.
And it's just,
There you go.
So
just a host, man. It's like
I
let
just
people talk and
I
whatever.
honestly ignore them. They don't. I don't
Okay,
even.
well, I just wanted to point
I
that out because I've seen some comments. I was just just
So
relax.
I mean, as you guys know, I was involved in a documentary that was on Netflix, and so
Here we go. We're going to hear about it now.
a lot of the trolls right now are like amped up by that cult leader because he's suing me, and so
My uncle,
Robert Shin, and so they think they have this.
he's South
like,
Korean.
yeah, they're like, yeah, they think he's gonna win. He's not. Like, we're really, truly, almost at the end of it. We
I'm
just,
actually
She's saying near at the end of it. This is what has led me to believe that summary judgment is hers. Because, yes, this was on, hello, Emmy Lou, this was on Sir Morbids' channel last night. This is why I believe that she's filed the summary judgment, and her argument is exactly what she's about to share with you now.
Those that they were able to come after
Uh-huh.
was the ones that she had.
Have showed up, and
I
I don't
know.
really care about.
And so,
They-
like, I really don't care about people's past according to YouTube because it doesn't bother me, nor does it take up my life. I'm not going to look into Katie Joy, and I don't care because I don't get
First
the
of
news
all,
from
what I'll
YouTube.
say is when I first came onto YouTube, I used to strike people, and I did, and I learned very easily, quickly.
Okay,
that
well,
you don't-
whatever. I don't care. I just
That you
know
don't do
that
that.
she's
But the other
covering
thing
Gypsy,
is
and that's
still-
all that I care about right now.
The other thing the trolls like to do is accuse me of crimes I haven't committed. They are generally from fundamentalist cults. They support cult leaders. They support criminals. So they're usually just accusing me of things that they're doing. So just if they're accusing me of something, that's probably them committing the crime.
And it's I'm
So
just a host, man. It's like
I
let
just
people talk. and
I
whatever.
honestly ignore them. They don't. I don't
Okay,
even.
well, I just wanted to point
I
that
know.
out because I was seeing some comments. And I was just just relax.
So I mean, as you guys know, I was involved in a documentary that was on Netflix, and so a lot of the trolls right now are like amped up by that cult leader because he's suing me, and so
my uncle,
Robert Shin, and so they think they have this.
he's South
like,
Korean.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, they think he's gonna win. He's not. Like, we're really, truly, almost at the end of it.
I'm actually on your side on that whole cult thing. 7M.
He's we
7M
did depositions. I can't speak the specifics, but I'll just say they didn't do well, and there's not much left before we do
Robert
what we're
Shin.
gonna do.
Yes, Robert Shin.
The problem is, Mama Kay, is that she doesn't let anybody else get a word in. To be fair, and sometimes it's better to let her keep talking and dig herself in. But yeah. But anyway, so she's saying it's nearing the end.
But like there's no way he's gonna win because I didn't make up what I recorded, and he's suing me about stuff that other people said about him. So
there we go. Now, all right. So this is what she's saying, right? But correct. I don't think she had a choice either. Yes, because she knew that if she was going to go against, so yeah, there's also a time and a place. So I don't know that it was the time or the place, unfortunately. Yeah, but anyway.
it's
That's
just
pretty crazy. Wow.
I know
His son is unfortunately a waste of talent. That his son is
I know,
really talented.
I know, right? I know.
It's-
Isaiah was actually trained by Tim Milgram. Tim works at a studio in LA, and a lot of his videography skills Tim taught him, and that's why Tim kind of brought the project forward, was because he kind of felt responsible. Because
See, again, there's malice. There's our motive. Like, I don't know. Yes, redistributing false claims. But here's the thing. Have any of those claims been proven?
Isaiah met all of these guys basically because he worked for Tim.
I don't want to throw it off topic, but I'm
Yeah,
very
no,
familiar with Korean
yeah.
cult churches, man. It exists in South
Yeah,
Korea.
and so
second
just to give you an
generation
understanding,
over
that he believes that he can act like Scientology. So a lot of the stuff is fair gaming. And then right now I have a bunch of the Duggar huggers riled up. So I have a lot of people mad at me right now. I'm just used to it, so I'm not worried about it. But
I'm used to it too. So there we go.
Yeah, so
I
with
don't look into
Nina,
that stuff. So
what I was gonna
Sorry to interrupt you. I've got my own super fan in the chat. Big up Christine Brown. She's my
who?
Christine Brown. She's my super fan. She loves me.
In 3 minutes, KJ covered Robert Shin, Netflix trolls, defamation, Isaiah Shin, and lied about the whole lot. So this is why, and that's why I think she's done the summary judgment, because I think she said that the depositions had come out. Did she talk about the depositions there? Depositions had come out and they weren't very favourable to Shin, and therefore it was going to go away. Look, thing is, as we keep pointing out, everything that has been explained about what's happened in 7M, about being told where you had to stand, who you had to work with, what time you had to be at set, and all of that, that's entertainment stuff. That's got nothing to do with being a cult. That's also to do with having a job and working. Having to wait for a period of time before your money to come through is part of being in the entertainment business. So what happens in the church is a whole different subject. And I will keep repeating this ad nauseum until people get it, that The documentary lost credibility when they used the Lee sisters, who were not part of 7M, but they were part of the church. You can't, you started to muddy the waters then, and that's where people have been confused. Because they were never part of 7M. You cannot say the Lee sisters were part of the 7M TikTok cult when they were not dancers. And that is why the documentary is misleading and potentially defaming. And that is my biggest issue. Do I deny that Chin's a bit dodgy? I'm not denying that he's probably dodgy. There are some questionable things that need to be answered, but that doesn't mean that the 7M part of it, the management part of it, is dodgy. And just because the little feeble minds don't understand the difference is not my problem nor my fault. But that is where the reputation and that is where damages will be in that aspect of it. Oh, really? I know. I did see something about Nikki saying she couldn't take it anymore.
Hey, girl.
What is that?
Christine Brown.
Yeah, but Katie will probably say that she didn't get a word in. Did they? They threatened to kick Nikki out, did they? See, I missed all of this. As I said, I watched a little bit of it. I just got very interested about the whole 7M stuff. That was really what I...
I don't know who that
Does
is.
she not like you?
Not, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't care. But she's so dedicated. I have to.
That's like
I mean, I'm always
Angelica.
anyone that's dedicated. Like Haiti Joyless has an entire account trying to be me, but she's Haiti instead of Katie, Joyless instead of Joy. So I mean, and I'm on a panel with her right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm not trying to be you, just to be clear. But yeah.
Well, I know, but she's been trolling me for like 5 years. So
Care about right now.
the other thing the trolls like to do is accuse me of crimes I haven't committed. They are generally from fundamental
So Haiti Joyless just suddenly and said a new following was from a woman. Okay.
cults. They support cult leaders. They support criminals. So they're usually just accusing me of things that they're doing. So just if they're accusing me of something, that's probably them committing the crime.
And it's I'm
So
just a host, man. It's like
I
let
just
people talk and
I
whatever.
honestly ignore them. They don't. I don't
Okay,
even.
well, I just wanted to point that
ignore
out because I've seen some comments. I was just just relax.
So I mean, as you guys know, I was involved in a documentary that was on Netflix, and so a lot of the trolls right now are like amped up by that cult leader because he's suing me, and so
my uncle,
Robert Shin, and so they think they have this.
he's South
like,
Korean.
yeah, they're like, yeah, they think he's gonna win. He's not. Like,
He doesn't get the joke.
really, truly, almost at the end of it.
I'm actually on your side on that whole cult thing. 7M.
He's we did depositions. I can't speak the specifics, but I'll just say they didn't do well. And there's not much left before we do
Robert
what we're
Shin.
gonna do.
Yes, Robert Shin.
But like, they did depositions and it didn't go well for them, she says. But that doesn't mean... Yes, she's there throwing hate.
There's no way he's gonna win because I didn't make up what I reported, and he's suing me about stuff that other people said about him. So
That's
it's just
pretty
stupid.
crazy. Wild.
I know.
His son is unfortunately a waste of talent. That his son is
I know,
really talented.
I know, right? I know. Isaiah was actually trained by Tim Milgram. Tim works at a studio in LA, and a lot of his videography skills Tim taught him, and that's why Tim kind of brought the project forward, was because he kind of felt responsible because Isaiah met all of these guys basically because he worked for Tim.
I don't want to throw it off topic, but I'm very familiar with Korean cult churches, man. It exists in South Korea.
Now, as far as I know, I've not seen a link between Isaiah and the church. He's never ever mentioned in the church. So if there is no proof that he's in the church, you called me a troll. I'm disappointed. Yeah. Look, unfortunately, some people will have to learn their own way, Lulu. Once she's got what she wants from him, she'll ditch him. Yes, he was a videographer. Yes, correct. Well, yeah.
So just to give you an understanding, that he believes that he can act like Scientology. So a lot of the stuff is fair gaming. And then right now I have a bunch of the Duggar huggers riled up. So I have a lot of people mad at me right now. I'm just used to it. So I'm not worried about it. But
I'm used to it too. So there we go.
Yeah. So with Nina, what I was going to
I've got, sorry to interrupt you. I've got my own super fan in the chat. Big up Christine Brown. She's my
who?
Christine Brown. She's my super fan. She loves me.
Hey,
what,
girl.
what is that?
Christine Brown.
I
Does she
don't
not
know
like?
who that
Does
is.
she not like you?
Not, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't care. But she's so dedicated. I have to.
That's like
I mean, I'm always
Angelica.
anyone that's dedicated. Like Haiti Joyless has an entire account trying to be me, but she's Haiti instead of Katie, Joyless instead of Joy. So I mean, and I'm on a panel with her right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm not trying to be you, just to be clear, but
That's Haiti talking now. I'm not trying to be you, just to be clear.
Well, I know, but she's been trolling me for like 5 years. So
Well, there you
trolling,
go.
posing, whatever.
You know, everybody
She just said whatever.
has their own people
you
that
can
they
keep
don't
trolling
like.
me. I don't care. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
No,
it doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah,
I'm
we're all
cool.
just trying to get along, right?
Yeah.
That's what this is about. It's about Gypsy. So
Yeah, I have nothing against you, honestly. I don't. You're as far as the people that troll me, you're very harmless.
I didn't even know
So
that. So
What? I'm so confused.
she's
why don't
she's
you like
trying.
Hey,
to her? That's the thing. I don't like go out of my way and comment on her stuff.
No,
don't
you
do
know,
anything
you don't
to her.
anymore. You used to. You used to. It's been a
No,
while.
I never commented on your stuff.
and someone's like, wait until KJ turns on. You know, that's the most typical thing a troll or hater would say. Which again, you know, it may
The
have
only
happened
people
to
I
you, but
turned on, like what, turning on Gypsy because she's a criminal. Like
and we're not
that's
even like close, right?
no, no.
so he says, just say what you want in chat, but then tells people off for saying it, right? Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I try
again,
to
this
keep
is
it
just
civil.
a solid
honestly-
meeting ground for everybody. You got to
I
have a
just-
place like this for everybody to just.
I just want to say something like the way that you're handling this right now, Morbid, is how it should be handled in this community because Gypsy and them love it when everyone fights. Like the worst thing that anyone can do is start fighting. And because they get so geeked up about it, like they start popping popcorn, they are like laughing hysterically. Like they have whole group chats when like Fancy loses her marbles and starts yelling at people and gets upset. Like they get off on that.
Well, you've been around for a long time. I've been around for a long time, so I know how these
Yeah.
games are played.
Yeah,
and
they're just-
I understand it. So
She loves it when
I
that
don't play
happens.
into those.
So
games.
randomly, somehow Gypsy blocked me and she put me into this group chat with Bree, Nina. And I had never really had a conversation with Bree because I thought Bree was a terrible addition to their team. Like I was like, what are you doing with this girl? She's literally picking fights. She's a bully. She's horrible. She's calling people names. She's like bulldogging for you, which she believed when I called her a bulldog that I was actually calling her a dog, which I was like, Bree, no, that's not what bulldogging
That's
means.
an upgrade. But no, I'm kidding, Bree.
So, but apparently you're troll. Yeah. Well, see, she's lying. She doesn't care about Nina Yule. As I said, there's a lot of that. You've got Katie Joy. She wants something, and I think she wants to be able to get Ken. So, and I think Morbid just wants information from Katie. So at the moment, they're just,
She's very offended that you called her transgender or something.
I did.
No,
That
I
was
don't know.
Starlight.
No, see, here's
I
the thing.
thought
is
she was.
No,
You thought she
I no. Look, it
And what's
wasn't
wrong with
Morbid.
being transgender?
nothing's wrong with being.
Okay.
She's not. She's a woman.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. Look, I've got transgendered friends. It's not an issue. I just went into her I went into her chat and asked, but like I don't think she knew that I was like affiliated with this channel.
She
But I
blocked
did
her.
say I have said a couple of times that I do believe that she is. But I've also said these are my opinions and they don't reflect the opinions of the other people on the panel, the channel, or the host. You know what I mean? So, but I think it's because people call her bro. But there's a reason people call her bro. Clearly,
Because
not-
yeah,
you
the
know.
bro thing. I tried to explain it to her. It's because like autocorrect corrects Bree to bro.
yeah. But, I mean,
Every time I try to write Bree, it goes to bro. It's her fault for just call her
It's
Bree.
her fault.
It's her fault for having a name Bree. Okay,
not-
so I want to see something that she sent me. Gypsy is really, she tried to add Katie Marie to this text thread and she was talking about me. Like I dumped Katie, whatever, like because I
What?
asked
Who
her.
dumped Katie?
Kate
So
Reed.
Gypsy, okay, here's how it plays out because Gypsy loves to say that like she blocked me. I had been confronting.
yeah, good point. And yeah, and they all have an agenda. Morbid is like any other at this point and wants views. KJ will bring. Yes, that's right. It's about views and it's about views. It's about a lot of stuff. As I said, it's they're just trying to get what they want from each other, I guess.
Them for like several months about her behavior. And my last conversation with Christy was on, I think, July 18th or 19th. And I was on the phone with her for like 3 hours. And I was basically expressing my frustration to her about Gypsy's behavior, about them profiting off of things, about how they were treating people, about her bullying people, about their obsession with Nina, Fancy, taking down other creators. I kept trying to explain to them, like, none of this helps them. And I kept telling them, like Nina shows up she gets into this fight with Nina, and then Nina shows up in some tabloid. I can't remember which one it was. If it was TMZ or if it was like Distractify or something. And I was like, do you understand that, Gypsy, you have 10 million followers. So if you start attacking people, if you don't want her to be more famous, don't talk about her. Like the worst thing you could do is if you don't like her, is to actually help her by growing her content. And she just wouldn't let it go. And I was
literally told her that, and
Yeah.
she ended up giving me over 50,000 followers overnight by her
Yes.
doing her dumb shit.
Damn.
I know. I
Like, it
told her, I
was
said,
stupid. It was so. I told her before she did that.
You mean
"Girl,
the Panini
stop
Press
doing
thing?
this." Yeah, I was like, stop doing this, because every time, because there was another time she posted my thing, and she was
Yeah,
like, she posted it in her story
yes,
or whatever, and
yes, we've got that. Till she's gonna. Well, that's right. Well, she's going to accuse some stuff, and I know people have said that he's got a past as well, and involves minors. So, and that's all I'll say. And so, are we then saying that she's turning a blind eye to that for her own agenda? Katie did say that she only spoke to her twice on the phone. Now she's saying she's getting all these text messages, and
there was people that were like, "Oh, I came over your page because it was in her story."
yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, thank you so much for like exposing the truth." And it made me laugh because I was like, "She's a fool. Like, who would do that?"
I tried to explain that to her. I said, Gypsy, like, don't bring up their names. I said, if you don't like Nina, never say her name. Like, don't. You have 10 million people, because obviously if you say someone's name, they're going to go look. And then
Yeah,
you might,
percentage of them is going to go over there for sure.
yep, 100%. And so you just have to be careful about like who you bring up. And they just can't let it go, because I think a lot of it stems
Oh,
from
honey, I am so not threatened by you.
is that this.
That brought you 50,000. 50 G's. Baby.
This I was talking to someone today who I've been connecting with like ex cult members. We all joke that Christy's a cult leader. It's a joke, but Christy has
I'm just reading some of these comments. I mean, it is a bit behind because it's not timed properly. They keep bringing up numbers. Oh, look, as I said, it's all about clicks and views and numbers and
it's
whatever.
kind of like that weird.
What?
Hold on.
Text.
I mean, imagine if these people had a situation where their channel gets demonetized and they're not getting any money from their videos. What then? Oh, and Katie did say she would die if she lost her channel, by the way. So,
This Chainsaw Massacre. What
I don't know, like
leader is
it's like this
Kinda
weird
looks
cult-like world. The people around them are very brainwashed. Like Brie is very brainwashed.
she? Crocodile hunters. I don't know. I mean,
Okay, so she hates Hello Starlight for some reason.
yeah, I know
But
that.
she told me okay. This is a text she said. Nina one time sent a bunch of people to my live, and was like, let's see who can make Brie cry first. There were hundreds
Which
of
is
people.
so not true.
I know, she's like, there were hundreds of people in my live, and they were all like, your pronouns, are you a man, just randomly saying like that kind of crap to me? And I'm not gonna lie, it broke me. It wasn't sad, it was overwhelming. I wish you could see my text from her, because it's usually her giving me a paragraph, and this is the only time I ever spoke to her, and it's me going, okay, and then like 4 more paragraphs from her. But she in here says that she's not gonna stop until your platform is done. That's what she said.
It'll never happen. So, girl, keep going.
I think I took a screenshot of it. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, winners never quit, and real content creators.
I believe she runs, doesn't she, when they bring up her doxing?
Just don't give up. It just doesn't happen. You can knock us down as much as you want. We just get right back up.
I mean, think about it, girl. You called my job and said you were Gypsy's cousin. Like, come on now.
That is crazy. That's way too far.
Hi, I'm
And I
Gypsy.
literally
My
had the
name's
voice
Oh,
Gypsy.
here's something she told me. I mean, yeah, Gypsy sends me things to put out, but she doesn't tell me what to make content about, is what I mean. Like when everybody was saying that the baby registry was bought out, Gypsy sent me the email proving that it wasn't. That's the kind of stuff that Gypsy sends me. Because she was talking about how Ryan Lee hurt Christy. She's like, Ryan Lee, I know how she hurt Christy was just about the whole friendship. She really fought for her. And Jasmine, I know like the way that Brie writes is like how she talks, and it's so hard to read.
How the hell, Katie? Did
know.
you guys get mixed up with his family?
I did not know Brie. Okay, so here's the thing. Brie showed up in like February. Nobody knows who she is. We're pretty sure she did single white female on Christy and found out where Christy was.
Well, then Fancy was there for the family for quite some time. Ryan Lee, I guess, was too, a friend of
Not
hers.
Ryan Lee was only there for like maybe a month.
Okay,
So you have to understand, like, Christy reached out to me in 2018 or 2019, and this was after Mommy Dead and Dearest. So
Oh, so she bolted. So she bolted like she was running the 100 meters sprint again, eh? See, people have written here. KJ's talking over everybody again. Someone says, I'm no troll of Katie's. I went into one of her lives, and the way she was talking showed me who she was.
So the public was still very much in her favor. And if I remember, even Nina was like on her side at one point, right? Because like a lot of us were like believing the narrative. We wanted to see the best in her. It was when her behavior doesn't match any of these stories that you start to be like, okay, this is all a lie. You know, I was wanting to believe the best in her, but over and over and over again, she just proves you wrong. And when she was in prison, it was very different because Christy was able to contain her. She can't be contained out here. And
That's one thing I'll say is Christy did a damn good job while she was locked up. She did a good job.
How did she do such a good job? It's kind of amazing, honestly. She's just some woman from
Yeah, she
Louisiana.
came out with people liking her, and that's because of Christy. Christy did it.
It's 100% Christy. So basically,
what she did.
What Christy did was she would find any and all production people that would interview her, right? And she would sell the story to whoever would listen. And she ended up meeting Melissa Moore through Dr. Oz. So Melissa Moore worked for Dr. Oz for a while. And she was like I don't know, liaison, maybe she was like casting person. I don't really know what Melissa did. Personally, I think if the daughter of this happy face killer I have a lot of feelings about Melissa Moore based on my experience with the family, but
based on her experience with the family. Oh, Bo. Hello, Bo. Renelle Smith says down here, without a crystal ball, I'm still waiting for you to prove that I agreed to help Robert Shin. It says, feel free to block people you don't like in chat, is what one of the mods said. And that's the way you deal with people. If you don't want to talk to them, don't talk to them. There's about 10 that don't like her. Yeah, 10. I think I'm counting more than 10. And I'm sure there were more that were watching that weren't commenting.
The more I've heard about her just outside of that, I'm very disgusted by her behavior. I can understand it must be challenging because her dad is a serial killer to be a victim of the serial killer because he's your father. But at the same time, like a lot of what her platform was about was almost like re-victimizing her dad's victims through her being a victim of her dad, you know? And
I thought it was about Gypsy. 10,000, 10 plus 15,000 read it. There's a whole Discord as well.
he wasn't really in her life very much. So I think he like left her life when she was very young. So the whole thing is just very weird. And I can't imagine what it's like to be the child of a serial killer. That would be very hard. But her whole concept is that true crime is profitable. And that if she has brainwashed them to believe.
I'm wondering, Emmy Lou, whether he's actually being nice and is actually playing her. There's that part of, you know, when people are actually playing you and you, I'm wondering about that.
That if everyone else is going to make money on the story, that Gypsy has a right to get her bag. Okay. And so the whole, you know, when Rod was on.
This was when she was on yesterday, actually. Well, the latest one. Hello, MH. I did, if you replay back, I did actually start on another topic. Yeah. Yeah, I think what Sir Morbids, humouring her is what I think, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's humouring her. Or, well, we do have another saying, but it's like taking the mick. Can I say that these days? Taking the mick or the mickey out of somebody. It's a slang. Taking the mick or mickey out of someone to laugh at someone and make them seem silly in a funny or unkind way. And that's what I think. That's what I think he's doing. I think he's taken the mickey out of her. So Morbids actually grown in the last, when I started watching him, he had 5,000. He's now up to 774. Yeah, I think he's taken the mickey. Okay. I think you were just joining, but was hoping you had this on because I heard she was on the panel. Yeah, I just think he's taken the mickey out of her. That's the only. And the other thing is that there's also another way where he's getting her to drop her guard as well. So if she drops her guard, he can go in for the kill. But yeah, I definitely think he's taken the mickey out of her.
And he was like,
Rose knows,
yeah, and he was talking about like, well, she has a story to tell.
Southern Martin, I did actually put your video on, but I put it on when I was in bed last night, and I fell asleep listening to it, so I have to catch up the rest of it. So, yeah. So the other thing Southern Mutton she mentioned was that the whole Robert Shinn case is nearly over. It's nearing its end, and there was depositions, and they didn't go very well for them apparently. So I'm of the opinion that she's filed the summary judgment, and she's trying to say that they have no case. That's my take on that. When I last checked, which was just before I went live over an hour ago, there was no additional filings or anything to indicate who filed it. But she's so confident that it's about to be over.
That's all from Melissa. So like Melissa is the one that's like, she has a story to tell. She has a story to tell. She's really brainwashed them to believe that Gypsy has a story to tell, and that she has told them that Gypsy needs to get her bag. And if everyone else is going to make money on this, Gypsy needs and deserves to make money on it too. And so that was really a huge turning point for me. Was Christy told me that in December, and I was like, that's disgusting, and Gypsy shouldn't be making money on this. And then Christy was like, oh wait, but we're going to do advocacy.
I think Katie may have completed her deposition. So, well, from what she said on Sir Morbids live, she indicated that they had done their depositions. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out in November. Now, I did check the other case as well. The one in California. Now, funnily, everyone's gone quiet on that one because the judge did not impose financial sanctions for that, but gave them a deadline. Yes, I think her filings are hidden from the public. Correct. I think that is at the moment. Yes. So we don't know, and that's why I'm also the other reason Plan to Create. I'm thinking it's her thing. And they go back in court in November. But both cases are going back to court in November. The California one and the Minnesota one. I can't understand. No, that doesn't make a sense either, because usually summary judgment, there has to be an application. And so it's not visible on the. Yeah. And if you make an application, generally you have to pay. There's no amount even on the file. I don't know whether she's allowed to know what's on the. I don't know whether that stuff was sensitive. It was either party could deem something sensitive. So yeah, it depends.
And I was like, yeah, okay.
Which never happened.
No. And Gypsy told me the reason why she stopped being an advocate was because she wasn't good at it and nobody trusted her because no one cares about what a schmurderer says. And I said, you didn't even try, Gypsy.
I saw that she had to like go to school or something first. It's like, didn't you live it? So like what?
Right. Exactly. Like the reason why she can't be an advocate is because she doesn't know how to even empathize with people. You actually have to care.
Yeah, well, that's also a good point, Southern Mutton, when Katie files them. Yes, because usually you can't access them, but they show up. The fact that there's nothing there. Katie said, 7M, if you listened, I played it earlier. Katie said that they did their depositions and it didn't go well for them. That's what she said. And then she said that the case was about to come to an end. Hence why I'm thinking she's done the summary judgment.
About other people to be an advocate.
And you have to be a victim.
Yeah,
like
well,
your
that's
birth
too.
mother.
I mean, in a way, like, come on, like making your daughter sit in a wheelchair isn't like, even Becca says that that's abusive, right? And like forcing your daughter to
It is, but
right, and teaching your child to lie. Like there were aspects of what her mom did that were abusive. That doesn't mean that she deserved to be unalived.
So I'm going to go back and clip that bit out. I think I'll go back and I'll clip that bit out. I did write down. It is around. I think I did write down a number. Where did I write it? Gee, I wish I could keep track of stuff. Oh dear. Did I write it? It was around the. Oh, it was 2 hours and 56. 2 hours and 56 seconds. A summary judgment is when somebody files to say that they don't think that the case has any prospect of success. So, yeah, so if you go to 020056, that's of this live, she talks about it. So, and she says the depositions didn't go well. Oh, that's all right. You can ask questions. I don't mind. I'm happy. I'll go back once the Katie stuff is over with here, and she drops off. I might go back and we'll have another listen to it. But she definitely says that it's nearly the end, and that that we'll just have to wait and see.
In the what I can't
That's the
understand about
disturbing thing that I could never get.
Your dumb ass in a wheelchair at 23 years old. That now is willful.
Even from the beginning, I didn't even have to look at medical
Nina,
records.
I agree 100%. Nina, I agree with you. Like when she was an adult, she was in on it, like 100%.
With Gypsy, I didn't even have to look at the medical records. I knew she was very creepy and weird from the get-go. But with the interrogation video alone, I knew how could you do that to your mother, number one. And so I was more focused in on the actual crime that was committed and how it was committed and mastermind. And that was really disturbing in itself, more so than whatever my mommy put me in a wheelchair. Okay. Yeah, that sucks,
Well,
but
I think, I think for me, I think it just played on the heartstrings that I have a child with a disability that has a feeding tube, that has had a lot of surgeries, that he's needed, right? And so.
Oh, didn't she say all of this the last time she was on though? Well, she also says, Sudden Mutton, that everything that she says is true again. So again, I'm very interested in how she proves that what she said is true. Because I've not seen any evidence of what she says is true. 7M runs like a normal management talent agency on the outside.
So it's hard for me to comprehend, like, the story that they told about, like, a mom doing that to a child, right? Like, that just seems atrocious.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to have a different opinion because of their personal experience, yes.
Right, and what I've learned about them is that Christy and Gypsy seek out people specifically for the reason of, one, they look for moms like me because they can gain insight and information about children that are abused because they can understand the disabilities. And I think Gypsy gleans and takes people's stories from them. And so she'll get information from people like me. And then they also befriend nurses so that they can report other nurses that do stuff that piss them off.
It's
like,
amazing
they have
how
a friend.
she's healthy as a horse now, and she's always been healthy as a horse since she's been in prison.
I don't think she's healthy as a horse. Have you watched her walk?
Do you have information we don't know about?
Well, yes, because have you watched her walk? When she's on live, she's always out of breath. Always.
That's probably because
she's out of shape.
Huh?
That's probably
out of shape. OOS.
Someone says Katie Joy and Christy should hang out. Again, they're perfect for each other. It could be pregnancy. It could be a lot of stuff too.
I don't think it's out of shape, honestly. In her medical records, in her medical records, it says she has low tone, and I believe she still has low tone. I mean, if you have hypotonia, that doesn't get better even with age. and
No,
she has
no.
and she still has asthma.
Yeah, I have asthma and I have another lung like connective tissue disease.
I got asthma. Let's kill our mothers. No.
Yeah,
don't know,
so
but-
coughing too, if you notice.
Yeah,
she
but I
wakes
don't go
up.
about like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't like. I don't know if it is. It could just be due to the fact that she hasn't had. Because if you think about it, the minute she came out of prison, straight on a press junket, straight to an interview, and then when has she had time to go to a gym?
It's not, well, as far as I understand, and like it's not about working out. It's like she really legitimately has asthma, right? Like most
Like
of you
still to this day.
Yes, yes.
I don't
She
think
still
that's
has
really
that
allergies.
bad.
and Yes, yes.
Isn't
and
she
she's not,
smoking and shit?
Yeah,
and she
yeah,
doesn't
but-
treat it. So I think Fancy has talked about this, and I mean, she can correct me if I'm wrong, but what she's doing right now is denying that there's anything wrong with her, and that's the problem. So she has asthma. She has low muscle tone. Those are facts. She has microcephaly. That's a fact.
Mhm.
She has an eye condition. She has crossed eye. She has two
No doubt
separate eye
about that.
conditions.
Lazy eyes.
Huh?
So for somebody was blocked weeks ago, she seems to thank you, Emmy. I just got a PayPal from you, so thank you very much. Very much appreciated. I just find it very interesting that she seems to know everything that they're doing since she's supposedly being blocked. How does she know it? You know, there's something a little bit odd going on. I think it's, again, just my opinion. She knows a lot for somebody that was blocked ages ago.
There's no doubt that she has an eye condition.
Yeah, it's
She had
two
a
separate.
nose condition, but it's been fixed. Well, not
Yeah, I
really.
mean, part of her rhinoplasty was getting her septum repaired, which was she has,
Rhinoplasty. I think it was a rhinoceros plasty.
I mean, the part of the reason why Gypsy's features are so weird on her face is because she has
Like
a small
elephant
head.
man. Like, yeah.
Like when your head is super small, like everything will look super big, right? So like her nose isn't probably that big, but it's like her head is
Oh
small.
no, I think I understand what you're saying because I know about, and I know this is a bit of a derogatory term, but they used to refer to them back in those weird days where they used them as circus exhibits. They used to call them pinheads. But those were more.
That's degrading. Pinhead. We can't even say pinhead anymore.
I don't know, but those were more extreme cases because it's like autism, isn't it? It's kind of like a spectrum. Sort of,
Well, so she has, her head circumference is 51 centimeters, which is under 2% of the population, and it's right at the line. 52 and below is microcephaly. So
So
she's
what
got
you're
the
saying
large.
is she's working with a small brain, and we should go easy on her.
Does she look like
Well,
that
no,
guy
I'm
from
not
that
really saying that because you can
Beetlejuice with
actually
the
have a small
head?
head and be microcephalous and have still a full functioning brain, which all of the scans
Little
show
pea
that
brain.
Like the
her
Beetlejuice
brain
guy?
is still normal.
I don't think it is. I'm sorry. I don't think
She just has a
Objection,
small
Your
head.
Honor. It's not normal. It's hearsay. It's
Microcephaly-
hearsay.
So microcephaly is on a spectrum, and like my son has a neurological condition, so you can like we go to a neurological doctor clinic.
Oh, gee whiz.
So we see kids that have microcephaly or hydrocephalus, which is what my son has, where their heads are bigger. But with the microcephaly, I mean, kids can be born with like no skull or like half a brain. Gypsy doesn't have that. She has a full brain. I mean, all of the scans show she has a full brain. So, and there's
Wow.
nothing structurally wrong with it. It's just
Yeah,
that
I mean,
her head is
she seems
small
pretty
rather than-
bright as far as street smart, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but she does have low muscle tone and she does have asthma still,
Yeah, I know,
and
but
she is very.
I understand what you're saying, Katie, but like for example, right? I have asthma. And it's not severe. It's not like it's mild.
No, yeah.
But
I'm
I
not
have
saying
to
it's
take-
severe.
I have to take 2 different inhalers every day. So can she not even just if it's that bad? Because I know for a fact if I didn't take my reliever when I needed it, right, I would have an asthma attack. I've never seen Gypsy have a proper asthma attack while she's been, and I'm assuming
and,
that
and
she
she's
Well, I
smoking. I
mean,
mean, if you're able to smoke,
Yeah.
Not every person. I
Not
mean,
that terrible.
I think asthmatics. My son is asthmatic,
Oh.
and there's different kinds of asthmatics, right? So there's like
Of course he is. I shouldn't have said that out loud. Well, as soon as she says my son's out, and I just went, of course he is, right? I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that out loud. I shouldn't have said that out loud. Of course he has. Oh dear.
they use them as circus exhibits. They used to call them pinheads. But those were more.
That's the grading pinhead. We can't even say pinhead anymore.
I don't know, but those were more extreme cases because it's like autism, isn't it? It's kind of like a spectrum. Sort of,
Well, so she has, her head circumference is 51 centimeters, which is under 2% of the population, and it's right at the line. 52 and below is microcephaly. So
So
she's
what
got
you're
the
saying
large.
is she's working with a small brain, and we should go easy on her.
Does she look like
Well,
that
no,
guy
I'm
from
not
that
really saying that, because you
Beetlejuice
can
with
actually
the
have a small
head?
head and be microcephalous and have still a full functioning brain, which all of the scans
Little
show
pea
that
brain.
Like
her,
the
her
Beetlejuice
brain
guy.
is still normal.
oh, I don't
Um,
think it is. I'm sorry. I don't think
she just has a
Objection,
small
Your
head.
Honor. It's not normal. It's hearsay. It's
Microcephaly-
hearsay.
So microcephaly is on a spectrum, and like my son has a neurological condition, so you can like we go to a neurological doctor clinic, so we see kids that have microcephaly or hydrocephalus, which is what my son has, where their heads are bigger. But with the microcephaly, I mean, kids can be born with like no skull or like half a brain. Gypsy doesn't have that; she has a full brain. I mean, all of the scans show she has a full brain. So and there's nothing structurally wrong with it. It's just
I
that
mean,
her head
she
is
seems
small
pretty
for the-
bright as far as street smart, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but she does have low muscle tone, and she does have asthma still,
Yeah, I know,
and
but
she is very.
I understand what you're saying, Katie, but like for example, right? I have asthma. And it's not severe. It's not like it's mild.
No, yeah.
But
I'm
I
not saying
have
it's
to take,
severe.
I have to take 2 different inhalers every day. So can she not even just if it's that bad? Because I know for a fact if I didn't take my reliever when I needed it, right, I would have an asthma attack. I've never seen Gypsy have a proper asthma attack while she's been, and I'm assuming
and
that
she's
she.
Well, I
smoking. I
mean,
mean, if you're able to smoke,
Yeah.
Not every person.
not
I mean,
that terrible.
I think asthmatics. My son is asthmatic, and there's different kinds of asthmatics, right? So there's like people that are fast respirators. So when they have an attack, their heart rate goes up and they just breathe really fast. And then there's other people that like are wheezers and they can't breathe at all.
You know what?
Yeah.
Candace Starr, they demonetized her because
No
of
way.
that too. Yes.
What do you
I
mean?
forgot.
What?
Yeah, she's not monetized right now
How do
because
you know?
of.
Is it
I'm
recent?
positive she. Yes, this is like a week ago. They or a week or 2 ago. Yes,
For what?
copyright. Now this makes
Candace
sense.
Starr. Let me see.
Yes,
So someone was saying maybe her PR
they
is
kept
doing.
her page up, but I don't think her PR would be dumb enough to have her catch charges for harassment though.
I mean, her PR
No,
is not
so
saying,
here's
"Hey,
what-
you
I mean,
should
my-
file false copyright, Katie."
No,
imagine
I
that.
mean, like, so like the best thing you can do is like just file an appeal is what I was getting back to. But like when it comes to the copyright stuff, I guarantee you it's her and Bree doing it, along with they have like maybe Vicky helping them. They could have Sherry helping them. They have a whole little like weird group of like enablers that
Thanks for the
would
sub.
help her do that.
I could totally see Brie telling her to do something stupid like this.
No, she's not demonetized. But she has her memberships live. And,
Yeah, but she can't monetize right now for 90 days.
Oh, damn.
Monetize? Really? They take away monetizing?
then this join button wouldn't be there. You see this? Let me show you guys.
She's monetized.
Yeah, she's
Maybe
monetized.
she just can't make money off her videos or something.
I don't
but,
know
like,
if
you
she
can't have
said it.
membership.
And she's just like doing it because I mean, Candace Starr is a little out there. I've had a run in with her a couple times, and she actually filed a false copyright against me one time because I was making fun of her and using her clips. But I won that. So because I can't
I'm
get
not
behind
in the
people
medium.
that do like what this walkie-talkie shit with the ghosts
It's
of
like she's like a
missing
medium, I
children.
think.
I just couldn't.
Oh, the
I couldn't do
box.
it, man. Sorry. Yeah, the talk box or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it, man. Especially with like missing children and shit. Like,
Oh,
go
God,
ahead, talk
no.
to Dee Dee all you want, but let's
Yeah,
not
the
do
missing-
missing
yeah,
children.
no.
I almost think talking to Dee Dee is kind of cruel though too. You know, like I don't know.
It is, but it's more bearable than missing
Funny.
children. Like,
I've just never really liked mediums, like because of the false hope they give to people that are vulnerable.
I mean, they scare the shit out of me. I mean, I'd have Candace up here and she could do a reading and it'd be very, very interesting. I'd
Yeah.
probably have to reach out,
She bring the bear.
but no missing
Oh.
children shit. You know, I can't do that. Sorry,
No,
I can't.
that is really, I don't know. It's like I watch it, but I don't know. Like I just I don't know what to believe in
people like
because
her.
until
I
I
mean,
actually experience it.
whatever. But
Yeah, it's like, but like when like it's entertaining to watch. It's interesting to watch, but I wouldn't want to be involved with it or around it. Like that's just me personally. But yeah, with the kid stuff,
Someone
Yeah,
wanted to know whether Miss Balls was sobbing Robin in this chat.
Ouija boards scare me, so I don't think I
oh
want to
yeah,
do it.
ever.
Oh. I always wanted one. My mom's like, no.
I had one as a kid, a glue in the dark.
No.
So, Katie, did you hear Ken up here at one point? He was talking about you were a friend of the family for quite some time, and he was very
Yeah.
disappointed. And he let his thoughts be known about you and how
You know what I thought was funny about that is, you know how it all started was that Ken saying that like I showed screenshots, and then like a week later he wanted screenshots from you.
there's hypocrisy there. Yeah,
Um,
he was, he was upset. He was like, oh, she's sharing all these private information clearly.
But they
about the
want it all
family,
out
and
there.
They
So
accepted
stupid.
you as their own, and
You know, they really didn't though. It's funny that they would say that because I'm learning the more that I've been out. And mind you, when I came on the last time, I was still in a fog. So, but yeah, they didn't. Like I'm learning so much more the more I'm out, just how much they just love bombed. And like I might have been trusted because I was told things that I never leaked. But at the same time, like there was a lot of times where I thought, why are you telling me this? This is weird. Like it's what I don't know. Like I'm a mom. I don't know if any of you have kids, but like
We
when
know.
I'm talking, I don't when I'm talking.
Hey, she's a mum of what?
Wouldn't want to be involved with it or around it. Like that's just me personally. But yeah, with the kids stuff,
Yeah, Ouija boards scare me, so I don't think. I
oh
want to
yeah,
do it.
ever.
Oh. I always wanted one. My mom's like, no.
I had one as a kid, a glue in the dark.
No.
So, Katie, did you hear Ken up here at one point? He was talking about you were a friend of the family for quite some time, and he was very
Yeah.
disappointed. And he let his thoughts be known about you and how.
You know what I thought was funny about that is, you know how it all started was that Ken saying that like I showed screenshots, and then like a week later he wanted screenshots from you.
There's hypocrisy there, yeah. He was, he was upset. He was like, "Oh, she's sharing all these private information, clearly."
But
about
they
the
wanted it all
family,
out
and
there.
they
So
accepted
stupid.
you as their own, and
They really didn't though. It's funny that they would say that because I'm learning the more that I've been out. And mind you, when I came on the last time, I was still in a fog. So, but yeah, they didn't. Like I'm learning so much more the more I'm out, just how much they just love bombed.
But you know how she talks about, everybody's in a cult, and now she's saying that she's just come out of a cult and was in the fog. Surely she'd be more sympathetic for people like Miranda and all these people that are allegedly, she says, are in a cult, because she's now calling it a cult, and she was in a fog and she's been out and the fog's lifting. I mean, show some compassion to the others.
And like I might have been trusted because I was told things that I never leaked, but at the same time, like there was a lot of times where I thought, why are you telling me this? This is weird. Like it's what I don't know. Like I'm a mom. I don't know if any of you have kids, but like
We
when
know.
I'm talking,
I'm a mom. What?
really didn't though. It's funny that they would say that because I'm learning the more that I've been out. And mind you, when I came on the last time, I was still in a fog. So, but yeah, they didn't. Like I'm learning so much more the more I'm out, just how much they just love bombed. And like I might have been trusted because I was told things that I never leaked, but at the same time, like there was a lot of times where I thought, why are you telling me this? This is weird. Like it's what I don't know. Like I'm a mom. I don't know if any of you have kids, but like
We know.
I don't know if I'm a mom. I don't know whether any of you have kids. Yeah, I don't know if any of you have kids.
when I'm talking to my friends, I'm not usually telling them like the intimate details of my son's life. It just seems very weird. When I'm talking to my friends, I'm not usually telling them like the intimate details of my son's life. It just seems very weird to like, I don't need to know those things, right? Like there's certain things about your kids or your family you don't need to tell me, but they had no boundaries about that kind of stuff. And so it almost felt like, why are you telling me? There were times where I'm like thinking, does Christy even like Gypsy?
The whole world knows all the intimate details about your son. Everybody knows the stuff.
I was actually talking to someone else that recently got out of the cult, and I say that jokingly.
The 7M cult.
The Christy Blanchard cult.
Oh, okay,
And-
Christy. Okay.
No, the Christy Blanchard cult. And I was saying, like, it feels like when they're telling you this kind of stuff, you're like, is she the one that's calling the PO? Like, is she the one that's like, I literally sent a text message to someone today, and I'm like, do you think Christy would contact CPS? And they were like, no, but one of her friends would.
I heard about that. I don't know where, but I heard that within the last couple of weeks. But I don't know. I don't know Christy. Never had a conversation.
Christy
with
doesn't
her.
think she's going to be a fit parent. She told me that.
I heard Christy was potentially, and this is alleged, but potentially scared of her.
I don't know if
Haven't
she's
seen
Or
scared.
was.
No, I don't think. I mean, honestly, Christy's like pretty big compared to Gypsy.
So was
Chris-
Dee Dee.
And if you think about it, Gypsy couldn't get the job
Dee Dee
done.
was
She
big
had
compared
to
to Gypsy too, though.
manipulate
Yeah, but
an autistic
Gypsy,
Nick
Dee
to
Dee
get
was,
the job done.
not as mobile as Christy. Like Christy's a fighter. Like Christy will kick people's asses, literally.
I see a lot of similarities in personality between.
Oh yeah,
between
between
both.
Dee Dee and
Yeah.
Christy. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're very similar. Very similar. She's
Which
very
is-
controlling. Very
yeah.
controlling.
Like Gypsy doesn't have the cojones or whatever, the balls to actually carry out the unaliving. She has to have somebody else carry that out.
Yeah.
She'd much
And
rather have
so-
people fight her battle for her.
What's
You
that?
know,
Well, she did shoot Dee Dee.
So Morbid just spoke KJ's Spanish. Remember, she used that in her live, and she goes, "Sorry, I've got a Spanish degree." Yeah, she did. She did say that. She has said that before. See, the story changes.
The BB gun, not knowing
You know,
it's BB guns.
I was just thinking about something really
That
fucked
was
up.
one moment. But
I was just thinking about something really fucked up she told me once, that now when I think about it, like the farther removed I am, when I was like brainwashed, and I joke because I feel like that's how I was, because I felt like everything they were telling me was the truth. And they have this way of making you feel like what they're saying is true. And they keep you so like love bombed and disoriented and gaslit that you're just like, huh? And when she left Ryan, she made the weirdest comment to me. She said, you know, I was so proud of myself when I left. And I was like, okay. And she's like, because I proved in myself that I could leave without something bad happening.
Hmm.
And I was like, the fuck? You mean like I could get out without hurting someone? Like, so
yeah,
basically,
become free.
I
Without
proved to
having
myself
to-
I could leave him without killing him.
exactly. Yeah,
And I'm like,
I see
so
that. I see it.
the
Yeah.
thought is still in your fucking head.
I mean, look
Sorry for
look
that.
back on that Lifetime that episode. I think it was the 7th or whatever episode where they're trying to take all that shit out of Ryan's house, and it was like a Mission Impossible sort of a thing.
Oh God.
And
The
they're
You know,
prayer,
they told all of us that there was a violent altercation. That's how they like spun it to all of us.
Oh God.
he wasn't even
Mm.
home. Do you remember the prayer they did? The so-called prayer they did before?
I
they
heard
went?
about the violent altercation theory with Ryan, and I know Ken was hinting towards, well, let me tell you why I'm not a homewrecker, because
So that's the spin that they used. So Gypsy is trying to convince everyone that he was violent, but he wasn't. So what she told all of us about leaving him, because they intentionally lied to all of us that Ken was back. Like all of them lied to all of us about it. None of us knew that Ken was back. They made it seem like Ryan was jealous for no reason, that he was acting weird for no reason. Come to find out, the reason why Ryan was being weird about her doing things had to do with her parole stipulations and him not being home and her not being allowed to do certain things, right? And she doesn't just have free willy-nilly to be, she doesn't have the capacity to just do whatever she wants on parole. And when he signed out as her home base, he's basically signing out for her and vouching to make sure that she doesn't violate, right? And the family, Christy and Rod, are supposed to be on that same world too, but Ryan took it much more seriously than they did.
and
But
that's why people are
they-
disappointed in Ryan, because of the fact that to this day he's going along with that sort of narrative that the Blanchards want to spin, that Gypsy wants, which is absurd to me, with the way he was treated and thrown to the side
He's just
and used.
I think he's still holding on for hope that she's gonna come back.
Well, clearly, I mean,
that. Well, it's not even that. She runs back to him constantly. Anytime she has a fight with Ken, she calls him and says, "I love you."
Yeah, I believe that, which is so messed up to
what kind
him.
of
Like,
fights
what a
have been going
manipulator.
on with Ken and Gypsy, if you know of any?
So many. It actually makes me laugh listening to him come on your panel because he's so much of a fucking liar.
Well, I talked to him behind the scenes. I'm not going to share any private conversations we had. I do understand some of it, but again, I'm not going to spill that shit unless I have his permission. But I get it. I mean, because life is life, and the reality is relationships are difficult.
It's not even that relationships are difficult. It's that they jumped into this head first and didn't look to the future. Remember when Mia said y'all are making long-term choices based on like short-term
results,
feelings?
or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
that's exactly the truth. Like Mia doesn't like him.
Yeah, I
Mia-
mean, both of them are infantile mentally, I think, experience-wise, I want to say. Both
He
of them.
is so immature. He is he's such a fucking clout chaser. He is only back for the money. And like this concept that like he loved her. I want to be clear, like, I don't know if I've ever spilled this tea over here, but the only reason Christy reached out to him wasn't because she wanted to know the truth about why he left. It was because Christy caused the breakup to begin with. And she didn't want to be the reason why they broke up. So she had to like create a reason for Ken that wasn't about her. So the whole interference was so Christy could look better and not look like the one that ruined the relationship. It had nothing to do with caring about Gypsy or Ken. It was about her image because she's a narcissist.
that's so weird because it was like already in the past. People already accepted her with Ryan. So like, why do that?
Because she cannot stand the fact that because in the background, everyone has for years told her she's the one that did it. Because they broke up right after Gypsy and her got in this huge fight. And I was around during this. So I actually remember this all happening. She and Gypsy got in a huge fight. It was like 2019. And Gypsy basically told everyone she was never going to talk to Christy again. Because
Is that
Christy
when
was,
that email came out?
yeah.
I saw
yeah.
some messages
Yeah.
between them that were pretty.
So
fired
what
up.
she was doing was she was having Christy is so obsessed with like the image. Like Nina was saying, she did a really good job of like cultivating the image. Well, Christy would plant stories in the tabloids to get good press for Gypsy about so-and-so or this or whatever. And so when she started dating Ken, Christy started planting stories about Ken. Well, Ken didn't want to be in the tabloids. He didn't want to be in the public. He was like brand new to this relationship, and that really pissed him off. And then all these stories come out about his sexuality. There were lots of rumors about that in 2019. and there was tabloids that were going to run stories about that, and I think Fancy's talked about that, and that really did happen. The sexuality problems and issues have been going on for years, but to be fair, Gypsy's also bisexual, and Gypsy would cheat with anyone, so it's not even like
For some reason,
when
I
people
don't believe that. I think it was a jail thing, and there's no
I think there was an email, right?
for
That
being
went out.
bisexual.
there was an email going out where so basically what Christy did was she paraded this relationship around, and then she had Fancy, who
Hey,
was
you really do have a I people that don't like you, do they? I just wanted to point that out. But you know,
I'm not
you've been around. How long have you been on YouTube?
okay. First of all, like I have a channel of 384,000 subscribers.
Yeah, so it makes sense. I
I'm not.
understand it. I got fucking haters. I mean, just saying.
I
the
have
worst
go to my
things.
channel. You'll see people that don't hate me.
But
They're here.
yeah,
my
absolutely.
my
100%.
followers are not here because like they don't know that I would be here, right? Like I haven't shared it or anything like that. Like those trolls are like the same 10 people, and if you block one, they create a new account.
And we're not doing that here. I was just noticing. You know, I was just like, oh, okay. Well, it makes sense because if I went somewhere, definitely I'd have.
They're just
massive
all they're
trolls.
trying to do is. I mean, the best thing to do is ignore them because all they're trying to do is disrupt the chat and make it
Yeah.
about me. And this isn't about me. This isn't about me.
I could relate to it though. But go ahead.
But if they're here, thank
This isn't about me, she says.
you. I love you guys.
There you go. And we're
y'all
not
are
gonna
amazing.
Just
block
make
them
sure
or
to
anything.
like
We want them
Morbids.
to have freedom of speech.
Huh? Who was that?
I don't know. What'd you say, Casey?
I just make the haters like your chat.
Like they're probably accusing me of crimes I haven't committed. It's great.
I'm okay with it. I mean, as long as they're not saying your children's names or putting out your
They
personal
do that a
information.
lot. They
Yeah.
do that.
If that happens, then you know we got to take care of that. But other than that, they can say whatever. I'm okay.
I forgot what I was talking about.
I don't know. Well,
Oh, back in 2019, Christy basically caused this breakup because she was running to the tabloids and constantly pushing Gypsy and Ken's relationship out there. And Christy was talking to content creators and giving out all these private details about Gypsy's life to people that Gypsy wasn't really consenting to her doing. And Gypsy didn't really know that her stepmom was doing that. Like Christy has been doing all of this for years and hiding it from Gypsy. And now a lot of the blowback that you're seeing that's happening and a lot of the fighting that you're seeing has to do with the fact that Gypsy's learning what Christy was doing on the when she was on the inside and all the chaos she was creating. And like Christy talks shit to everyone about Gypsy, everyone. So a lot of the leaks that you get from creators are probably coming from Christy or her enablers directly. I don't know who's talking to Nina, but I have no doubt it's someone directly in her circle or
well, what's
close to it.
Christy's motive in all this? Money too?
Money.
Okay. Or
That's all
or another child that she couldn't have with her.
No. She don't want to raise that kid.
She doesn't
No
want
way.
to. She doesn't want to have
No.
control over this child.
No.
No.
No. Christy's too much of a drunk. Like,
Really?
yes,
I thought Rod was a drunk.
they both are.
Interesting. I didn't know
But
that
she's
about Christy.
like, I don't know, she's 53, 54. She's raised her kids. She doesn't want another kid. She barely likes Gypsy. The only reason Gypsy's around is because of money.
And
And
what's with
because
the other children? How many children do Chrissy have? She has Mia and Dylan.
Mia and Dylan.
And that's it, right?
Yeah.
And then Dylan doesn't come around.
Dylan wants nothing to do with it.
Okay.
He doesn't support Gypsy in any way. He thinks all of this is stupid. And Mia does too. Neither one of them support this. Mia just lies publicly for them. Like Gypsy and Mia don't get along very well. Because Mia, Dylan, and Rod basically view Gypsy as like they were snowed by her. And now that they're out, she's out. They basically are like, oh, she's worse than Dee Dee.
So when did you have a falling out with the Blanchards? Do you remember? Was it a month ago or it was recently?
It's been ongoing. I mean, it was the last time I talked to them was in July 22nd, I think. It's been a month. But
Did
yeah, I haven't
you
talked to them.
purposely decide to withhold information for some time and then let it out? Or
Yes.
out of respect from the relationship that you had with them previous?
I bit my tongue a lot because I didn't want to offend them. And when I had to keep biting my tongue on my own platform, when I didn't agree with what was happening, and then people were coming to my platform accusing me of being like a supporter of hers when I wasn't supporting it, I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I basically told them like, I'm not going to lie for you guys and say that I support this when I don't. And I'm also not going to deal with the hate that comes with this because I don't agree with what she's doing. And I actually agree with the people that are criticizing you about all of it. And I'm not going, I was like, I'm not going to enable you. I'm not going to help you try to bully Nina when I agree with 99% of what she says. It's not, I said to them, like, I'm not going to fight your fights. Those are your fights to fight. Like, you're not going to ruin my platform
Who
because
was more difficult to deal with? Was it Christy or Gypsy when it came to like, hey, guys, you can't do this because it's
Gypsy.
not good for you? Gypsy?
Mhm.
She won't listen.
to no
At all.
one at all.
Christy, she would listen and take it in.
Christy will like listen and say the right things. Like I'd say Christy's a more sophisticated narcissist. She's better at the love bombing. I would say Gypsy's more of a sociopath and reckless. She has narcissistic tendencies, but Gypsy's very much sociopathic, psychopathic, whereas Christy's more of just like a narcissist.
Mhm.
They don't get along at all. and they pretend to publicly. It's all very weird
So,
because
in your opinion, as we're dealing with this new issue with Gypsy going on YouTube, filing false copyright against
Yep.
big YouTubers like Nina and
Yep.
Conspiracy,
it pisses me off she's
what
going
do you
against
think about that? I mean,
Conspiracy.
what's the
What,
purpose behind that?
what pisses me off about Conspiracy is like Conspiracy, she kind of reminds me of like Recap with Julie. Do you do any of you know Julie from TikTok?
I don't personally, but I know she's very vanilla. She's very fair. She
Yeah,
doesn't take a
like,
side. She just
Yeah,
reports.
that's how Conspiracy kind of reminds me of. Like, she's not pro Gypsy, but she's also very like middle ground. Like, I feel like
I don't even think
Conspiracy,
she takes a stance on her videos.
yeah, like Conspiracy very much is like, this is what I'm seeing. This
Yeah.
is what she said. What are your thoughts? You know, I don't see her being super controversial. So that actually annoys me because they never talk about her ever. So to me, that just feels like it's a vindictive like flex. And with Nina, it's just a personal flex because Gypsy is mad that Ken offered to buy her drinks.
Well, I know about Nina. I mean, Nina, you know, she'll say what she feels and thinks, and she's not apologetic about that. So we know that. And even on my channel, I mean, shit, man. Even Ken says, "Well, you bust balls on the nose and all that." And I mean, he gets it. I guess I don't know. I
No,
haven't
Ken
got
doesn't
hit
get it.
yet, but
Ken is arrogant. He's cocky. He's completely full of himself.
But you
And
haven't had a conversation with him or some sort of experience or relationship
no,
with Ken, right?
with Ken, no. But I can tell you when Ken showed up, it was like a tornado hit.
Showed up
When
meaning
like when she divorced Ryan, when she left Ryan and Ken showed
Yeah, I think they were baiting her. Yeah. I don't know that I don't know that there's going to be a moment where she goes in for the kill. Maybe that's still to come, but it's definitely about, you know, making her trust them and have some rapport. This is said, but I think there are some times where I think he's definitely taken the mick out of her. That's, as I said, that's just my opinion. And it's definitely making her talk. She's spilling, as we say in Australia, she's spilling her guts.
up, it was like a tornado.
but isn't that because of Gypsy and
No,
Christy and how they act?
no. It's because Ken was so excited about the attention he was getting. How many times has he jumped on lives? How many live streams has he done with her? Like, Ryan is not lying when he said he never did lives with her, because Ryan actually had better intentions with her than Ken does. Ken doesn't care about what her long-term health is or what she does or her goals. Like, he doesn't. He's immature. He has no career goals. I mean, one of their biggest fights has to do with the fact that he's a bartender.
Really?
Yes.
You heard this?
Yes.
Gypsy's mad because he's a bartender.
Kind of makes sense because it means that it'll be around a lot of women. Is
It's
that
not
bad?
even that he's around a lot of women. It's that bartending, the hours, it's the women is part of it, but the bartending is like, it's inconsistent.
Yes.
Money.
Yeah. Long
Right?
hours. It could be
Long hours.
Mhm.
Mostly, if you're going to make good money, you have to work weekends. Mostly
all the
evenings.
days. Mhm.
Yeah. And
Other women, maybe.
I mean, I'm sure part of it is the other women, but we were trying to explain to her, like, if you're going to have a kid with someone, you want to do someone with, like, if you're really thinking about stability for your kid, because we're trying to think of, like, okay, he's a bartender. Who's going to be with the baby at night? You are.
The thing is, with the money that she supposedly, allegedly has made, I know that it doesn't negate the fact that he maybe should work. I don't know.
He's not, like,
Financially, do they have to though? Do they have to financially?
she's not. It's weird. She's not making as much money as you would think, and I don't know why. It could
So
be
we
that
had a
she's
$3 million
no way, no
Nope.
way.
maybe a
Not even.
million.
Well,
Not
a
even.
net worth is different than what you actually have. So that's why it says 3 million is her net worth. It doesn't mean she actually has $3 million.
Net worth this year would be maybe
She has no.
a
Okay, here's
million?
no net worth. Celebrity net worths are wholly inaccurate. They're rarely even close to the nose. I'm sure it's trying to go off of like her net earnings, but she hasn't made that much
Which
money.
I mean, she's got to be making enough to live in Louisiana.
She doesn't have she doesn't have any. She has no assets, none. Here's what I'll tell you. They spend money on online gambling.
Gambling.
Who is online gambling? Let me know.
I don't know. Someone in that family is. They blew
Rod, what the
through.
fuck you doing?
Someone in the family blew through almost all the earnings from, according to them, of the show on online gambling.
Well, I do believe that. I'm sorry.
Online gambling. Eh?
I don't.
Yeah.
Like, how would one
Probably
person?
Christy. Texas Hold'em and shit.
They were accusing Ryan of doing it, but I doubt it was Ryan.
Of course they were, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, how could one person have all that like full access, entire access to all those funds? That doesn't make sense. Because I thought it was all like wrapped up in trust, no trust deeds,
It's
but
no, okay, so the trust fund issue is like complicated because Christy and Rod had a trust fund for her when it's not in her name, it's in her name, it's in Christy, Rod, and Mia's name. They're doing that intentionally to hide it from victims so that if Dee Dee's family were going to sue, they would have no money to sue for.
Or the Godejohns
or the Godejohns.
Yeah.
Well, no, the Godejohns really can't sue them because they're parties to the murder.
It has to be the victim's family.
It has to be the victim, right? So they're
They
doing
could
it.
still sue. I mean, like a civil thing like OJ.
Not
Yeah,
that
civil
would
suit.
never. No, that would never happen.
No?
No, he's a co-defendant. In this case, it has to do with the laws regarding victims restitution and son of Sam. And there's a son of Sam law in the state of Louisiana, and they know that.
Well, if that's the truth, how is it possible for her to monetize her TikTok in her?
Because she's using loopholes.
Wait, are you sure Louisiana has the son of Sam law?
Yes,
Because
it's called notoriety for profit. Yes, it's called notoriety for profit.
So what would these loopholes consist of per se?
Gee, she's an expert on everything, isn't she? And so definite in what she says. I have no idea, Michelle. I have no idea. Isn't it interesting though how I don't know how long she's been on for now, but
Nothing's in her name. Nothing.
But if they all still live,
So the reason why they're fighting about spousal support is because none of the bank accounts are in her name. All the contracts were in Ryan's name. The reason why she got married wasn't just for a place to stay. It was for someone to sign a contract.
You got to send me
for her.
information on the son of Sam law in Louisiana if you have.
It's called notoriety for profit. It's a law in Louisiana. It prohibits this. They know they can be sued. They're 100% aware of it. They know that Dee Dee's sisters can sue them at any time. They are aware of it. That's why they're doing all of this the way that they're doing it. I had a conversation with them about this in December about how awful this was. I said, what you guys are doing is wrong. I said, if she comes out and profits off this, they will sue your ass. And Christy said, they're too stupid to sue us.
Well,
and I said,
she seems right because they haven't done anything.
I can't believe that no
and-
like creepy lawyer has come out of the woodwork
Deedee's.
and tried to get them to do it.
huh?
I can't believe that no like creepy lawyer has come out of the woodwork and tried to get them to sue.
Well, from my understanding with the family is that they completely, so like, you know how she accused, one of the biggest fights I had with them was when she accused Claude of SA. And I was like, she can't do that. That's so fucked up. He's going to sue you guys. Because she's never made this claim before, ever, to no one. And the only time she ever does it is monetized for a book.
It's really strange. Sorry, Morbid, go ahead.
No, go, Charlotte.
No, it's your panel.
No, I was just gonna say something. Go ahead. I remember what I'm.
I was just going to say it's weird how the family are so divided because you've got like that Bobby. He seems he's a bland. He's a Peachy, isn't he? Bobby Peachy.
Well, Bobby benefits financially from this too. He gets traffic to his tattoo shop.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's like this whole family is just dirty.
Nepotism, basically.
It's all dirty. It's all dirty. But Dee Dee's sisters like are horrified. They hate her. Like, here's the thing. Gypsy has this like huge online presence, but everyone in the real world in their family hates her. Nobody wants anything to do with her. That's why I know Nina spent a lot of time about like who was at her gender reveal. The real reason why it's filled with lawyers and people from Lifetime is because the only people that actually care about Gypsy are people that are making money off of her. Nobody else wants anything to do with her. Everyone in the family hates her. Rod's family wants nothing to do with her. Dee Dee's family wants nothing to do with her.
Well, who are these friends that Gypsy talks about? She's like, I saw a video. She's like, oh, I've got great friends that I hold dear. Who are these friends? 'Cause who's she referring to?
I like how she says, one time I was up until midnight with
That's
her.
what I'm talking
Yes,
about.
that one. I saw that video. Yeah.
I'm like, bitch, wait until you have a kid.
But who are they? Because
She doesn't have friends.
Amelia,
For the midnight
Bird?
video, I think she meant like in prison, like her prison friends. But
Maybe
outside of prison, I don't
in
think
the
she has
real
any friends.
world, she doesn't. Gypsy, first of all, to have a friend, you have to be a friend, and she doesn't know how to be a friend. So she doesn't actually have friends. She has people that she uses. Every single person in Gypsy's life is a vehicle to something that she wants. She doesn't actually like Bree. She doesn't. Bree is just the person she is using to
Bree
fight.
seems more connected to Christy than
Bree
Gypsy.
isn't. Bree is really just the new person that they are using because Christy had an exodus of friends that left, including me. Like all of her closest confidants have walked away from her. And Bree is like the new meat that's naive and doesn't know that they're fucking liars. And she's not very intelligent. She's very
what's the
emotional.
benefit? What's the benefit for Bree in this situation?
So
What is she
they're
looking
using the benefit for Bree is that Bree's a fangirl and she's probably in
Were
love
you
with
kind of like that that
No,
time back then? Were you
never.
kind of almost
No.
like that?
Never.
No.
I wasn't impressed by Gypsy.
Were you almost
ever.
like, wow, this is infamous family? I'm
Never, not impressed by Gypsy, but she wanted the scoop, right?
No.
feeling pretty good here.
No.
No?
Never. Like, I didn't tell a lot of people I even spoke to them because I don't know. wasn't like anything to be proud of.
Have you made videos that were pro Gypsy ever? I don't know. I haven't followed you.
I did.
You
I've
did?
taken a lot. I've taken some of them down. Yep. I've covered it since 2019.
Gotcha. Okay. I didn't know
But
that.
again, it was when she was still incarcerated.
Hmm.
But yeah, Gypsy is
It was my story first. Oh yeah, someone in channel says hilarious. That last time KJ was here, she dragged the panel and said that you all were cruel, didn't let her talk, and she'd never come back. And there she is. Well, that's right. Now, yeah, so either she's intelligent. She wanted the scoop. That's right. She wanted the scoop. Fancy and Ryan on a live on TikTok, apparently. He was? Okay, interesting.
So Gypsy can't do anything. So you know how Bree's always like, oh, Pearl doesn't care about her. That's bullshit. Gypsy flat out told me that Pearl has her by the balls. That's what she said. Pearl has me by the balls. And she can't fight back. She can't respond. She has to do things like say panini pressed so that Nina knows she's talking about her. She can't, if she does direct message people, she gets reported. If she tries to fight back and say things like the girl where she said, say it to my face or whatever, I was like, Gypsy, you can't say that to people. That literally means like cash me outside. Like,
if you could help us figure out the mindset of Gypsy as far as the title being filing false copyrights, does she get a thrill out of it, or is it really to shut people up?
Okay, so Gypsy has, I was trying to say this in the chat, like what her motivation is that she's got a very high opinion of herself and she's very narcissistic. And so
I was going to say that the fishing is interesting. I think the interesting thing is they need him to do her depositions. I reckon you'd get her to sing like a canary. Okay, so
for her, she won't acknowledge that she's a schmurderer and she wants to rewrite history and she wants to change the narrative because Lifetime and Melissa Moore have made her feel like she can rebrand herself. Like they've really made her feel she can rebrand. And so all of this is a rebranding to her. And so she truly believes that if she just makes you feel like she's not that person, you'll forget that she's that person, even though she's that person, right? And she's so narcissistic that like narcissists are obsessed with what people say about them. And so she gets vindictive. And so it's about the truth coming out and silencing those truth tellers, but it's also being vindictive. And when she gets a vendetta against someone, she will not drop it. And she has a severe vendetta and very
well, yeah, someone else has a bit of a vendetta as well. Hello, Mrs. H. How are you? Welcome.
Severe, almost scary vendetta against Nina. And frankly, it's incredibly racist. And I noticed a bunch of commentary that Bree had that was super racist. And I was like, it doesn't, I feel like she's completely targeting Nina.
Somebody did do a search, apparently, well, when he said about Robert Shin, apparently they come from, they're both Asian, by the way. And I don't think that she got that connection. Oh yeah, she'd sing like a bird. She would absolutely sing like a canary. He would have her.
Not just because of the size of her platform, but of who's talking to her, but I also feel like she's targeting her because of her race.
Katie, do you feel like all the information that you put out there is putting a target on your back and possibly will be a lawsuit in the making? Are you afraid of it? Do you welcome it?
Christy would be stupid.
Yeah, that's right. I believe he's Korean, so that's why he knows about Robert Shin, but I don't think she realizes that. I don't think Katie but realizes that he's actually Korean. And I saw his picture, and it wasn't what I thought it was.
Because it's
She knows what I have.
You're not
She
afraid
knows-
of them coming after you.
No, they have no money. I know what you guys said that we're getting back
They
to the
don't have money.
network.
Are you sure? 'Cause
Yes, yes, they
How do you
don't
know
have
that?
money.
Every
Because
time
they-
Gypsy does a TikTok, right? So if she goes live on TikTok,
I know, but
where does it
yes,
look-
they have money, but they spend it. They spend it faster than they make it.
right? So
I could see
It
that.
doesn't matter if you make $10,000 if you spend 12,
True.
right?
Correct.
She's spending 13 grand. Ken lied to you. He said that she doesn't spend that much. It's 7,500 she pays Red Bandit, and she pays 5,000 a month to Mike Stanfield. Mike Stanfield's the one that put together the PR list of all the crap she puts out. So all
Well,
this
Ken,
bullshit.
I have to correct that. Ken did say he
I see
doesn't
it. Yeah.
dive into the financials of Gypsy.
He's full of shit. He's lying. Gypsy,
Well, that's what he said.
has-
I just
That's what
reporting
I
back.
said.
Gypsy literally has no boundaries. She tells people everything. She'll tell you everything you don't want to know, and then she'll lie to you about half of it. He's absolutely lying about knowing nothing about the money. And the reason why he's lying is because she's paying his bills. But the reason why they are like fighting so much is because she's got all these legal fees. They tried to sue Fancy, but they don't even have the money to sue Fancy. They're not going to even move forward with the rest of it because they can't afford it.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
Well,
they
that's
don't
what's
like,
happening.
like I said, like it doesn't matter how much money you make if you're spending more than you're making.
Do they not
That's
have
true.
advisor, like financial advice? You would have thought that they would have had some kind of financial advisor, or
These are people that are like have never had money. It's like if you've never had money and you think the money's never going to end, you don't think long term.
true.
And Gypsy doesn't think long term. She's busy spending all her money on Shein. She's hiring PR firms with talking to no one. She's hiring her attorney as her manager. She thinks she's a bigger celebrity than she is. She has no concept of the fact that she's actually a schmurderer. She really views herself as like
Disassociates from that.
Yeah.
Have you heard any? Do you have any thoughts about Lifetime and if the series is going to continue this fall?
She only got pregnant for the show.
I believe he is Korean, Southern Mutton. And he has longish hair. The picture I saw, he had longish hair. So there you go. And that's why I don't think she realizes he's Korean either. I think so. The way that she talks about that's why he said, you didn't hear it. He goes, Robert Shin is my brother, sort of joking around. But Katie didn't get the inference there.
Does that seal in a season 3 for this?
I have no idea. Like, I know that there's been rumors that they're filming, but I don't know. Like, I would think that if she was filming, she wouldn't be making the content that she's making.
Has Christy reached out to you and
No,
got in your ear and said, "What the fuck are you doing? Why are you
No.
spilling all this shit?"
I have her blocked. She
Oh, you
can't. I
blocked.
don't,
Gooning over. Well, I mean, his voice is makes you want to do that, doesn't it? But when I saw the picture, I went, "That's not who I thought it was." It was a bit disappointing, I have to say. Let's just say he has a voice, a head for radio. Sorry, I didn't.
I have her.
Oh, I
I
said
didn't know
I
you
have a question. I was having a question for Katie. Have you reached out to Rod, or has Rod ever reached out to you about any of this?
No. I tried to reach out to Mia and I sent her a message and I was like, listen, like I know you're going through a lot because I know behind the scenes she doesn't agree with any of this. And I just said to her, like, when and if you ever need to talk to someone, I'm here. Like, because at the end of the day, like my heart hurts for Mia and
Really?
Dylan.
Why?
Yes,
Why do you?
because
feel for
Mia has been neglected since 2015 by her mom. Her mom is a
That's a
raging
good thing.
her mom's a raging alcoholic that's abusive. You know, like Mia has had a rough life, and this show that they're putting on publicly is just so fake. I mean, one of my last conversations I had with her, Christy, she admitted to hitting Gypsy, and Gypsy was pregnant, and I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
So
Here's the thing
Christy
I'm
hit
saying.
Gypsy.
Yes, and she was either drunk or high when she told me. That's the problem with Christy. She has loose lips when she's drunk or high.
Wow.
She chased Gypsy and hit her across the head.
And this is all true. I mean,
She told me this.
wow. Because you're putting yourself out there quite often on your TikTok and your I don't know. You're more on
No,
TikTok spilling the tea on Gypsy
Like,
stuff.
why would I lie about her telling me that? Like,
Well, I would assume they would go after you.
she
You
said
know.
nothing. What did Ken say? That I was revealing private information that they told me in confidence.
You were a
Did he ever
friend
say I
for
was
quite some
lying?
time, and he was
Yeah.
disappointed. that
Did he
you
ever say
released
I was
all that.
lying? I have, since the day I came out publicly, I said she hit her. That's one of the reasons why I
do
stopped talking to
remember,
her.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Ken-
did notice that too. Ken never denied that you were lying.
No, he just said he was disappointed that a friend of the family would do that.
Yeah.
And now Gypsy's trying to say I'm lying because I'm putting out the screenshots, but it's like you can't. That's what she does. Gypsy lies about everything. But Christy, there is literally her audio. I mean, I was watching a video on Hello Starlight's channel. It was like her and Bree. She was on Bree's channel. I think it was like 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, they
She's
were
talking.
talking. Yeah, they were
She's talking about like kicking people's asses. I mean, that's Christy. She was like, she got into a fight with her kids because they think that she is abandoned them, basically. And they are like, we want our fucking life back. Why are you dedicating your whole life to a murderer? And they're worried about their safety, and they're worried about Christy's safety. And they believe that Gypsy's just as bad, worse than Dee Dee, and that all of this online is ridiculous. And Mia wants her in therapy, like real therapy, like inpatient therapy, and doesn't want her on Lifetime, doesn't think it's good for her. And I think you see her say those things like our morals are different. That's what she's talking about. Like this whole thing to Mia is disgusting. Like
I think I've said all along that if the Blanchards were to sue Katie Joy, it would be very easy to prove malice because there's the vindictiveness. Well, she's not supposed to want you to create, she said. But in my opinion, the malice is there. I mean, a broken friendship and spilling all the private information, I guess, could be deemed as malicious.
and when she's saying like, what is Ken doing to help Gypsy publicly? Like, how is he helping her? He's not. What Mia wants is her in therapy, like inpatient.
Yeah, Ken's complicit with it.
Right. He's making it worse. Like none of this helps her. Like
So wait, because there was like a TikTok video apparently of apologize, of Mia, slating or being sort of like derogatory towards Ryan. And
yeah, I mean, she doesn't
that
like
was
either Ryan or Ken.
right.
But like you have to remember, Mia publicly will never say any of this. She's never going to say that she doesn't like love Gypsy, and she'll never speak badly about her mom because it's still her family.
And to be fair to Mia, I've always got that vibe. I always got the
I
vibe like out of everyone that's been shown. It very much feels like she the stuff that she says in the show, she does it for the show. But I never actually got the icky kind of impression I get from everybody else involved.
Well, she doesn't have much of a relationship with Gypsy outside of all of that. Like she lives away from them. She's in school. She has a boyfriend. Her boyfriend doesn't like Gypsy. Nobody likes Gypsy. Everyone that meets Gypsy hates her because she's a freaking lying tornado of chaos.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Gypsy is a compulsive liar. So
And Christy has thrown her kids away for Gypsy. And they don't understand that at all. Because they didn't care about Gypsy when she was before any of this. They didn't care about her at all. The only reason Christy's doing this is for money. But she's willing to throw away her kids for that.
Yeah, what was the purpose of Christy hitting Gypsy? Do you know the reason?
And she's talking about this. I mean, she can't really complain about Christy and like pay no attention to the kids because that's the same allegation that is aimed at Katie Joy, right? About her own son.
Behind that
Money.
What do you mean money? Like
because she found out that Gypsy. No, it was because she found out that Gypsy. First off, her kids were mad at her because she treats and they told her that she enables Gypsy, and they don't like their dynamic together. I mean, does anybody?
Okay.
And
no,
right? And they don't like how she acts with Gypsy. They don't like the way she treats Gypsy. They don't like Gypsy. And then Christy found out that Gypsy signed the contract with the PR.
I think so now because Ryan essentially was in charge of her supervision for parole. From what I can work out.
Without talking to her, and found out about signing Mike as her manager. Okay. Gypsy is so inconsistent with her work that she's not motivated. She's very lazy. She doesn't help her out around the house at all. She's incredibly entitled. She expects everyone to do everything for her. And she does shit without talking to people. And Christy's the one that's trying to manage all of this, and she's the one that cares about the money, and they don't have the money to cover all of the expenses between the $12,500 with that and all of these legal fights that Gypsy wants to take on against all these people and her ongoing legal fees because of her ongoing case. It's like never ending, right? And then Gypsy is constantly spending money on frivolous things or buying really expensive shoes or doing, she has no concept of money. She just spends it, doesn't look at the checkbook.
So when you
There's
say
n-
Christy hit her due to these reasons, do you know the specifics behind
She
the
said that
hitting?
she just hit her upside the head.
And Gypsy was okay with that? I mean, she never
No,
called the police. or-
No, I don't know if they called the police. I mean, I know that there was a talk about the police being at their house. I don't know if there was, but
Mhm.
I don't know.
What would be Gypsy's motivation to just be quiet and not just take it? Is Christy that much of a powerhouse in that family?
Yes.
And she
Christy's
has
violent.
control over Gypsy in that sense?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I knew Rod's a pushover, so
All that shit he did online was because Christy told him to.
You talked
went
about
live on
Ivory
that
Rose
family.
knows.
Yep, he went live on Ivory's because Christy told him to. He made the video because Christy told him to. Rod doesn't give a shit about any of this.
Surely part of her motivation for not like retaliating towards Christy is because she's not allowed to stay at Ken's full time.
And she's on parole.
Yeah, and she's nowhere else to go basically. So surely that would be part of it as well. Not just
And
the
it's
fact-
like I don't know, like the way that they were talking. Like I was talking to some girl, Ivory Rose Grows. She's from the Bayou, and she was she was telling me that area is very. She said there's lots of fights there. Like that's just she was basically saying like if people have a problem with someone down here, they just start kicking each other's asses. And I was like, oh god, but that's very much how Christy talks. That's very much how
So
she
who
talks.
who has the most power in that family? Would it be Christy or Gypsy? At this point?
Christy.
Because what? Like, I would
She's
assume
not on
Gypsy would have
parole.
the most power. But
Yeah,
No,
she's the money maker. She's the money bag. and
Gypsy's
she's-
doing all the money making because Christy's forcing her to do it. Like I don't think Gypsy would do half of this shit if it wasn't for Christy.
Why would
I-
Gypsy be afraid of Christy?
I do.
Because
believe
she'll
that.
beat her ass.
Is that it?
I think some of it is on Gypsy's part.
I
I
think
don't
Gypsy
see
would
why.
do-
it's-
But
Sorry,
at the same time,
Okay.
I think Christy's terrified of Gypsy killing her.
Well, I asked
I'm
you
just-
that earlier though when you said she wasn't.
There was an interesting clip of Michelle, Michelle and talking about going to the Bayou and so, and she said it was Michelle Goes Live, that crazy one, and she said that she'd eat KJ alive down there. That would be very interesting. Be very interesting. See, someone says in here they have money. Stop being jealous. They're talking about the Blanchards. Cage match, yes. Yes. It'd be very interesting. Oh,
Well, I mean, like,
I said to you, is it because she's scared? I heard that, allegedly that Christy was scared there, and you said no.
well, I mean, I think to the extent of like when this all goes wrong, right? Like, and as long as Christy has the upper hand and she can control things, she's not worried about it. But the family knows that the minute things like fall apart and Gypsy gets her freedom, she's going to blame Christy. Christy's going to be the fall guy. If Gypsy goes back to prison, she's going to blame Christy. If they go broke and bankrupt, she's going to blame Christy. Like, she'll blame Christy for everything. That's what Gypsy does. She never takes responsibility. And Gypsy's dangerous. So even though Christy can hit her now, doesn't mean that Gypsy won't find a new love triangle to have her end up dead. And I fully believe that Gypsy's capable of doing it all over again.
whoa.
Probably, but I do think that she would seek out the attention regardless as to whether Christy.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like
Yeah.
the benefit, I mean, I think in one breath, Gypsy likes the attention Christy gives to her because it's like Christy makes her feel like she's invincible.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
that's not
because
gonna
I
help
was gonna,
Christy. Sorry,
but yeah, I would definitely say that Gypsy, a part of it is on Gypsy because she just loves attention too much
Yes.
to make me not believe that it's 100% Christy. Not
It's
saying
not,
that
no.
she isn't. Yeah.
No, it's not 100% Christy, but the two of them combined, it's like two sticks of dynamite.
So do you think Christy has any sort of leverage or any influence regarding all these false copyright strikes then? Because if
No,
you're saying,
Yes, 100%. I think it's both of them together along with Brie.
yeah, because like if you're saying, oh, well, Gypsy's not that fussed, which
But if you were to be a betting man or a betting lady,
Yeah.
who would you bet on that's initiated this? Christy, Bree, or Gypsy? Because we want to
Christy.
know.
Christy knows way more about this than Gypsy does. Gypsy's pretty ignorant about this shit. So she has other people telling her what to do. And Gypsy is the kind of person that's like, and I know this sounds weird to say that, but she really is very clueless about a lot of things.
Well, I mean, it was like when she was saying that she knew 100% for sure that Ken was the father. And we're going, well, what was she? Was she there when the night of conception, coaching them or something? You know, how they're big claims to make.
Things because her mom did everything for her. And so if someone will tell her to do something, she just does it, but she doesn't do it because she actually like cares about that person. She's just pleasing them because she's a sociopath and she's just being whatever
Placating them, just placating them. She's trying to just placate them so that they'll get her back. Yeah.
Yep. So she'll placate them to get whatever she wants. And she changes her opinion based on whoever she's talking to. So that's why if she says one day she's not going to do something and the next day that she does it, it just depends on who she talked to that day. She takes on the personality of whoever she's talking to. And so Christy's very much of a feisty bulldog bitch.
Chameleon.
Yeah. And so she brings out the worst in Gypsy, to be honest. And so Christy hates these.
You can't see the parallels in their behaviorisms and their mannerisms and just their personalities in general.
Have they gone after you yet, Christy? Have they gone after you? Katie, I'm sorry, Christy.
No.
No? I mean, you've been going pretty hard at them and spilling a lot.
He called her Christy. He called her Christy.
Bree or Gypsy, because we
Christy.
won't know.
Christy knows way more about this than Gypsy does. Gypsy's pretty ignorant about this shit. So she has other people telling her what to do. And Gypsy is the kind of person that's like, and I know this sounds weird to say that, but she really is very clueless about a lot of things because her mom did everything for her. And so if someone will tell her to do something, she just does it, but she doesn't do it because she actually like cares about that person. She's just pleasing them because she's a sociopath and she's just being whatever
placating them, just placating them. She's trying to just placate them so that they'll get her back. Yeah.
Yep. So she'll placate them to get whatever she wants. And she changes her opinion based on whoever she's talking to. So that's why if she says one day she's not going to do something and the next day that she does it, it just depends on who she talked to that day. She takes on the personality of whoever she's talking to. And so Christy's very much of a feisty bulldog bitch.
Chameleon.
Yeah. And so she brings out the worst in Gypsy, to be honest. And so Christy hates these.
You can't see the parallels in their behaviorisms and their mannerisms and just the personalities in general.
Have they gone after you yet, Christy? Have they gone after you? Katie, I'm sorry, Christy.
No.
No? I mean, you've been going pretty hard at them and spilling a lot.
They won't.
Why? Because they're going after other creators, as you see.
Because they won't. Because I have too much information.
Share that information with the creators that are being.
But wouldn't that want to make them go after you more? Sorry.
No, because they also know that I've gone through lawsuits and I'm not stupid. Or not stupid. I'm not ignorant to legal, right?
Are they afraid? This family afraid of getting tied in lawsuits?
They don't have the money.
Famous last words. They won't sue me. They won't sue me. They won't sue me, right? And she's saying, I'm... Yes, that's right. How many times have we heard that?
Do you think it scares them if there's a class action lawsuit against them for false copyright strikes?
Yes, but I don't know that that's the route you all should go. Like, I would go a different route if you're going to
Well, let's say if YouTube rejects these claims, because
like
it
what
could
I would
happen.
sue them for, frankly, would be bullying and harassment and like the intimidation of it all because she's a fucking felon. She shouldn't be doing any of this.
Straight out of context was in the chat. Shout out to her. She had a question. I think I got it right because the screen's moving too fast on my TV. I believe she asked Katie, why does, now correct me if I'm wrong, why does Krusty, sorry, why does she never wear her hair up?
Why does she what?
Why does she never wear her hair up? I think that was the question. Straight out of context asked in the chat.
Oh, I think she's super self-conscious of her ears.
Well, they poke out regardless, so you know.
That's like honestly the only reason I think she's super self-conscious of her ears.
Right. I think that's what she asked. Apologies if you didn't. I mean, I'm watching it on my
like
telly. So
Chrissy's hair is like the least of my concerns with her. She
All
looked like I will say that she looked terrible in the series. Like she looked like she hadn't been showering.
Yeah,
greasy kind of looking hair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's definitely not what she was. Huh?
I said very much so.
Oh, look, there's CoffeeZilla, there's Logan Paul, because Logan Paul got sued by the American Olympic Committee. A big list stuff of there's not enough hours in the day, and this golden goose keeps popping off. So one day, that wouldn't support. That doesn't surprise me. They're really cutting down on all the defamation stuff. Is that the one that was CoffeeZilla the one that was sued by Logan Paul as well? And that's intentional defamation. Yes. It is that. Yeah, because I mean, Logan Paul's got about 3 or 4 lawsuits against him, and the prime drink as well. So it's really interesting. And apparently, he's threatened to. Logan Paul's threatened to. And I don't know whether it's been filed, but was looking at suing LA Knight, who broke a window of his car. Somehow his insurance had exemptions for defamation. Well, that's why you need to read the fine print. A lot of
Oh,
She's definitely been hitting the bottle or pills since badly.
I had no idea that she's a heavy drinker, huh?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
What does she drink?
I don't know. Honestly,
Beer or-
wine,
Because
beer.
yeah, it looks like Rod drinks beer all the time.
Rod's loaded whenever he's home.
He looked like it on his gender reveal video.
Yeah.
It looked pretty blasted.
They have a very unstable marriage. Like he cheats a lot.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me because Christy literally admits
With
that she
dudes,
keeps
or-
in contact
No.
with all of her exes, and then obviously Rod cheated on Dee Dee with her, so it wouldn't surprise me if he cheats.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Does
yeah.
Katie cheat?
Does who?
Kate,
You mean Christy?
Christy, sorry, Katie.
He's confusing Christy and Katie. Oh wow.
His gender reveal video.
Yeah.
It looked pretty blasted.
They have a very unstable marriage. Like he cheats a lot.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me because Christy literally admits that she
dudes,
keeps
or-
in contact
No.
with all of her exes, and then obviously Rod cheated on Dee Dee with her, so it wouldn't surprise me if he cheats.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Does
yeah.
Katie cheat?
Does who?
Kate,
You mean Christy?
Christy, sorry, Katie.
Oh no, I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, who knows? It's down in the bayou.
She probably
like,
doesn't have an option. No one wants to cheat.
I
with her.
mean, as far as I understand, like those kind of the guys that work out on the ships like that on the rigs, there's a lot of infidelity in a lot of the marriages because the guys are gone for so long.
Yeah, they're probably making love to some jellyfish.
Well, no, it's mostly the women that cheat while the guys are gone. So I don't know, but he's cheated on her a lot. He's also had problems with drugs and alcohol. So there's just that marriage is very messy.
That's why I'm saying I think he's messing with her. He's messing with her now.
And so it's just weird that she's getting so involved in all of this because I don't
Maybe
know.
she's having a midlife, or I don't know what age she is, but maybe it's a midlife crisis scenario. And if Rod's away for half the year,
He's
you
just
know?
she's a bored housewife, really.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But with the false copyright strikes, what I was going to say is that Nina should do the appeals and then just document everything because frankly, Gypsy's using Bree to attack everyone because she can't do it herself because of parole. So I would just say that everything that Bree says, just consider that out of Gypsy's mouth.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we figured that makes sense, you know.
It's
And
cyberbullying, though.
they also have contracts. So like whether it's with Lifetime, I don't know if another season's happening. I really don't know. I don't know. Did Rod say that they were filming?
I found it very.
I don't think. I mean, I have a
suspicious.
feeling it's not happening, but
I really hope not.
I think they left the door open because at the very end it said to be continued, and then there was the ellipsis afterwards.
Yeah,
So I'm
they set it
assuming-
up like there was, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe the filming that she's doing just now, because she got the gimbal, which Morbid spotted in the mirror. Oh, sorry, not the mirror, but in the photos yesterday. Maybe they gave her the gimbal. Maybe she's doing like a home style sort of like update, and they'll use potentially some of that footage and work it in. if
No,
they
all of
film
that
again.
is PR directed.
Possibly.
No,
but-
so the whole like doing a nursery, that's what Mike wants her to do for her YouTube channel to make her an influencer. So that's where I'm confused because I don't know if the show is going on air because they're really heavily pushing her to become an influencer now, which kind of makes me feel like the show might not be going on. I don't know what the ratings were for the last episodes. I can't imagine they were that great.
I mean, like, sorry, it was just the last comment. Like, the lawyers pushing her to build a nursery. It's like, or do you mean document it rather? Because it's like, surely that's what she should be doing anyway, regarding the fact that she's like pregnant. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, why is she paying these people to tell her to do the obvious? I should have actually. That's a silly question. I should know the answer because she can't do it herself. But I still think that potentially they have left the door open
Yes,
or
yes.
or they wouldn't have put to be
No, I
continued,
didn't.
because then
Yes.
they're going to probably see how
No, I didn't see that. I need to try and find that. I believe it was good though.
it pans out, and how the general public probably respond. What's the word? It is nearly 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock here in the morning. How they react to it. Sorry. How they
Okay, wait,
react to-
hold up.
How they respond.
How they respond, yeah, how they react to the series, and if it's in their, like, obviously if it's in their interest, they'll
Oh
probably.
God, these ratings for this were not great.
I didn't
It
think they were,
doesn't
but
surprise me.
it was shown in
So it says for the okay, the ratings for the first episode, which was on June 3rd, 298,000 for the first episode, 283,000 for the second episode. The last episode on July 22nd had 453,000 viewers. That's not good.
Nope.
It
It's
was-
terrible
No, it's not.
it
for a
was
national
shown.
TV show.
And that last episode was up 62% from the week before. The week before had 280,000 viewers. That is terrible. Like I cover
Well, Lifetime wasn't even out there for the gender reveal, right? With cameras. I mean, we
no,
would've seen that.
no.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was also
so
shown
I cover reality
level.
television, obviously, and I cover the Sister Wives, and like they get 1.4 million per week. So
Uh,
you're
What
you-
season are they in? 20 something?
19 this season.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you went too far off.
But last season they were doing, I think their debut episode, first episode of the season was 2.2 million, right?
Yeah,
Even
it's
the
a
role-
popular show. Yeah.
Even the roll-offs who ended, into their last seasons were getting 1.7, 1.8 an episode, like Little People Big World. But
I wonder what it was like globally, because I think it was syndicated in both Australia and the UK, and I don't know what the ratings were for the UK. I should.
But
I've
see,
not
the problem is the money isn't in streaming with a show like that. Like
No.
the streaming networks just don't make the kind of revenue that the cable does, and so they're making it for cable. When she did Life Prison Confessions, they got 9.8 million views.
Yeah.
And I think they walked into this thinking we're going to get another 9.8 million views, and they didn't get anywhere near that, because I think what happened is people saw how Gypsy was, right, coming out. There was this lag time between the two series. Most of you saw that the backlash got intense. That's why this book that's coming out is going to be a complete and utter flop.
Well, her first book didn't do well, so
No, I think she only sold 16,000 copies.
if that, I mean, I can.
Yeah.
That's what she told me.
I can't see the Audible version of the other book did very well. to
I
be
don't
fair.
even. I think they're going to scrap the audiobook version.
Oh
I mean,
God.
Who
no.
wants to listen to
why
her
would they
for
do
that
an
long?
audiobook version of that shit?
I can't believe that there's a ghostwriter that would even help her write this book because it's all fiction.
If
Well,
she does
if
the
it's a
audiobook, would you be able
ghostwriter,
to
it's
hear
the
her
daughter
licking
here.
her lips?
Sorry.
Who said that?
Me, Casey.
That means turn the page.
But she's got
I
a
do-
dry mouth. It's not from hypersalivation.
I don't know
I
what
do
it
have
is.
a question though, Katie. I'm sorry.
It's from Hyper
you're fine.
Fire D.
I will say I'm doing better on this panel than the last time. I think I'm a little bit less out of my brainwashing, a little more out of it.
Yeah.
Someone had a question.
yeah.
Some-
I did. Who is more into the money? Rod or Christy? And the reason I ask is obviously Rod's in it for the money too, because he didn't care about Gypsy until she got out, and he even when he was on that live stream with Ivory Rose Nose, he admitted that
Yeah.
Lifetime wanted to pay money for it, which he basically revealed that his intention was money. So who's more into in it for the money, Rod or Christy, or are they both equally into it?
Christy. Rod, you have to remember, Rod's a captain on the rigs. He makes good money. He doesn't need any of this. And Christy pushes the relationship on Gypsy with him. I don't think he would even care to have one, to be honest. She has pushed all of it. And
Okay.
she's, yeah,
Would you
Rod
say
is-
that same with Ken as well? Sorry.
I just don't think Ken and Gypsy will make it to the baby. It's impossible for anyone that has a functioning brain that isn't a psychopath.
They both
deal with
seem excited. I mean, Rod seems excited about having a grandchild,
Well, okay. Yeah, no,
and so does Christy. Honestly,
no.
they don't feel excited about it.
That's all fake. They were terrified when she got pregnant. They're like, it was like if they could have castrated her, they were terrified of this happening because she is so not ready to be a mom. I was doing some digging into the legal aspects of it, but I'm pretty sure that in the state of Louisiana, she could have her baby taken away from her at birth due to her conviction
Oh,
and the fact that she's on parole.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad
Well, I
thing.
guess the baby
considering-
would go to Ken or whoever the father
Because
is.
in the state of Louisiana, they can look at in the child's best interest, and she has a history of familicide, which is killing someone in your family, and she has a violent felony, and she's going to be on parole. And someone left me a comment in my video, and they were like, "That would never happen," and I'm like, "No, it really could happen because she hasn't proven to anyone that she's stable."
Somebody in the chat.
No.
I'm just looking through the chat because I was asked just to see if there was questions. Just by someone in the chat actually. Someone said.
One
so there
second, I'll
is-
be right back. Go ahead.
no problem. Someone said so there is a video of Christy and Ken making out. I
No,
can't
there's,
remember who
no,
said
there's
it.
not. That never happened.
Okay.
They were promising that on TikTok 2 weeks ago. It never happened.
Oh, it was Christina. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Christina that asked, but I didn't want to say your name, Christina, just in
I
case.
think it
Yeah,
ended
I-
up being some like troll that was just trying
Yeah.
to stir some.
I think that's
crap
pretty
in
much just
between.
what it
No, it
was.
was, no, Christina asked me. Look for some of the
Oh,
questions. that I
asked you.
Yeah.
Oh no, no, that never happened. No,
No,
I know a lot of people.
Christina never asked me to ask you that. She said, look at the chat and see if there's more questions you can ask. But
Oh.
it's going so fast. I don't know who the person.
Definitely. Yeah, nah.
It was. That
Oh.
suggested that was the case, but
No,
yeah.
I know people are like obsessed with that, but that's not what's happening. The reason why Ken is around is because Christy can control him. That's all.
Dash X says, why is it a problem that Christy and Bree block everyone but not KJ, who's done it for years? What? Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading that question.
I don't know. Was it Bree or is it her little mods?
Well, I think one of her mods blocked me.
Not saying.
You said that the reason that is so she can control Ken. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Ken's very
'Cause I
like
know- oh,
beta.
sorry.
He's very beta. He's very mellow. He's very like Ryan is an alpha male. That's why they didn't get along.
Ryan is an alpha male. What?
Just a little
Get
bit.
out of here.
like-
Well, I
I
guess
like-
you're comparing him to
prefer
Ken, so
Yeah.
Okay, but there's this guy named Oscar on TikTok that does Ryan's videos so well.
Wait, is he
What's-
the one that draws like the beard on?
Yes.
Oh
And he's
my
like, I'm
God,
gonna do
so
a
funny.
poll.
Oscar. Is it the
He's
blonde
like-
guy? He's blonde.
Yeah, yes. And he's like,
He
I'm
looks
gonna
like
do a
Joe Dirt.
poll. He's like, red for Jersey, blue for Christy's a fucking bitch.
I think I've seen his video.
he's like, let's do a poll. Blue
It's
for
Oscar
Ryan.
Mansky, I think, or something.
Yes, he's like red for Ken or red for me and blue for Ken. And then he'll be like,
Every
there's a
time
lot
I
of
think
blue right
about
now.
Ryan's polls, I think about the one he did with. Did y'all see me crying? What did you do?
Yes.
Were you on my side when I was crying, or were you on the other side when I was crying?
So this is the problem with Ryan is because he's such an alpha and he's actually kind of narcissistic himself because he's always like,
I think he's a bit.
He's an.
Sigma.
I can't believe you're saying he's an alpha. I'm not
he
sure.
is very alpha, very
Like,
alpha.
Ryan's
I would
low-key
say
funny.
Sigma because there's like 5 different
They
personalities.
couldn't. Ryan saw
Alfalfa?
right through Christy. He could see through her. He could see through her motives, and she didn't like that. And Gypsy had an
He's not an alpha
There-
male.
I think
he
he's a
is. He's
Sigma.
very
No,
alpha.
no, no.
Yes.
He's the one the next one down, which would be a Sigma. He's very much like reminds me of a Sigma. If you go and look
No, he's alpha.
He's very.
like
He's insecure. He has a
I mean,
lot
in
of insecurities that
comparison
he
to
needs,
Ken,
he needs to
he's
work out.
yeah,
sure.
he's doing- yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
But there's actually 5, but this
Sure.
just go alpha, beta, it goes alpha, sigma, and then there's all these other ones afterwards. But yeah.
he's a very type A person. Trust me. Like he's very like
No
He's not
alpha
that
rights
Sigma.
prisoners that kill their mothers. Too.
Whenever she says trust me, I get very worried. Trust me.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay.
I think he's like old
I think
school.
we're just like fighting about semantics.
Yeah,
And that's,
I just would. I mean, think about it. I mean,
You're not fighting.
okay, so I'm using the wrong word. Okay, you guys.
he's
fine.
Omega.
Let's move on. Let's move
Then
on.
again, that would also
Yeah,
apply
no.
to Ken too, because Ken. Oh, well, yeah, you said Ken was a beta because he also contacted Gypsy in prison as well once before.
What I'm saying about Ryan is that he's very opinionated. He's very strong-willed, and he's not easy to push around. And
Yeah,
He
that's
won't-
more so than Ken. Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
can I, wait, hold up. Can I just like finish my sentences before I get interrupted, just so I can finish? Thanks. I just want to get this out because I've been trying to say this. And I'm not trying to be sassy. When it came to Christy, he was opinionated, he was assertive, and he had no problem telling her what he thought of her. Right? He flat out said to Christy she was a fucking bitch to her face. He told her to. They got into a fight. This didn't happen on camera, and she said something to him, and he said, "Fuck you, Christy," like to her face. So obviously you don't get to see that on camera, right? But he had her pegged, and he knew she was like just
Yeah.
out for money. And he actually had Gypsy doing shit that she was supposed to be doing while she was on parole. He had her in therapy. He had her doing stuff that she was supposed to be doing, unlike Christy. And the therapist that she was working with actually was helping her untangle her family relationships. And she pointed out that Christy and her dad were actually being exploitive just like Dee Dee, and they were toxic. And that if Gypsy cared about her mental health and her well-being, she would put up boundaries with her family because they're exploiting her the same way her mom did.
Yeah, but you know, I
Hold
don't-
up. Before your opinions, I just want to share what I know. You're entitled to have opinions. I'm just telling you what happened, okay? And that therapist actually was causing problems because that therapist was actually doing work with Gypsy that Christy didn't like.
Right.
Christy wanted her away from that therapist.
That makes
She
sense.
wanted her away from Ryan because she couldn't have control of the money and she couldn't keep exploiting Gypsy with that therapist and with Ryan. So she did whatever she could to end the marriage.
That makes sense.
Sorry,
Yeah, it
I wasn't.
does.
Which is very interesting considering that she did the whole thing about Ryan's controlling and all that sort of stuff, right?
I wasn't trying to be like, I know when I'm sharing this stuff, it's I don't speak very fast sometimes, so I'm just like, just wait, hold up, let me finish.
No, we got you. We got you.
We got you.
Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
So there
well,
was a lot of history there that wasn't seen on camera. Like, she did not like that he would, like, Ryan has said live that he saw through her, and that's the truth.
Yeah. I
And
think that- yeah.
I guess
she didn't
I
like-
guess people are wishing that Ryan would not be so like open
I
to
know.
Gypsy
I agree.
returning. So on
He's
and so forth.
very, what
Yeah.
bothers me about Ryan is he's very easy. He can see it in Christy, but he doesn't see it in Gypsy. And but that's because Gypsy calls him and tells him she loves him.
It's the
that's-
manipulation of love.
it's
He's
not-
basically
is
being
blind.
held tight by the gaslighting she's doing to him.
She's hovering. She's doing the hoovering. She's not letting him get away
that's just so wrong.
because she has to keep the supply, right? He's a supply for her.
And he can't move on because of that.
No,
And
she
that,
won't
yeah,
let
and
him.
that
She
makes
won't
it
let
hard
him.
for and that makes it hard for him to move on too.
She won't let him move on.
Yeah, because I remember him saying on one of his lives that if she wasn't pregnant to Ken, that he believes that she would possibly be back with him. And I'm like, no, dude.
No, she
But-
would. She would go back. She calls him every time they have a fight.
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is like, no, he was saying, oh well, if Ken and Gypsy were still together, but Gypsy hadn't fallen pregnant, she would have potentially left Ken to go back to Ryan. But
She would. She's already tried to leave Ken multiple times and tried to
Alright.
run back to Ryan
Recently?
in July.
What?
How do we
They
follow?
got into
Did we follow you on TikTok to get this information,
You can follow me on TikTok or on
or
my.
do you do it on your
I do
YouTube?
it on
Or
my
you keep it
YouTube channel,
separate?
but yeah, like they got into a fight in June or July, and she called Ryan and she told Ryan she loved him and
Yes,
missed him
it is
in front of Ken.
at 3 hours 43:41. That's right. I answered to everything. 3 hours. So this is currently. So you'd have to go back for a bit where she's talking about the other one. And then you want to look at for the Robert Shin stuff. You're wanting around about the 2 hours 56 on this one. If you're talking about my timestamps, the timestamps I'm talking about are the Sir Morbid ones. My ones are different. So, yeah.
She literally did that in front of Ken to
In
piss him off.
July
Hmm.
last month.
What happened?
Okay.
Then she said, I just had a moment of weakness. And then she said, then she got mad at him.
Hey,
when
how
he
do you
ca-
know
when-
this? Who reached out
Gypsy told me this when this happened.
in July?
Yes.
You were still close with them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Was that her first or second phone call with her? Was that the first or second video call that she had?
I told you, last time I talked to them was July 18th.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Remember the respectful video that he made? When was that? June?
I remember it. I don't know when
That
it was,
TikTok
but I do
respectful?
remember. Yeah.
That was because of that fight. She called him, begging him, telling him she loved him. And then he responded by saying, don't you miss me? Like a couple days later. And then she accused him of not getting over her after she literally professed her love to him 2 days before.
Oh.
And then she told him, you make it hard to move on. I have the text messages. She sent me the text.
Put it out.
I did. I already
Put
put
it
them
out
out.
there. Oh, you put it out already?
Yeah.
Oh man. Wow. Well,
Yeah. I mean,
didn't know
that's
that.
why she does love triangles. That's all she does. She didn't let go of Dan. She was like, she and Dan and Nick were in a love triangle. She hates Dan.
mean,
She's still mad at Dan for testifying about, I think, in Nick's trial. And now she's trying to tell people that Dan killed her mom. Just
So
to
when Dan
bitch it.
testified at Nicholas's trial, what he was censored or some shit? We couldn't see him.
They didn't show it. I mean,
They didn't show his face.
No, the
why?
appeal
He's not a
wasn't.
minor or anything.
No, but the appeal thing wasn't. There's no filming of it. I mean, they showed like 2 minutes of it on the news. There is.
Oh, I thought it was broadcasted on like Law Network
No,
or something
no,
like
it was
that.
never. No, never.
Law and Crime, actually. Yeah.
There's like transcripts of it, which says what he said, but no, I mean, it wasn't like.
Hmm.
There's a clip of like one of his attorneys that people have said that's the Dan, but that's really one of his old attorneys.
Yes, because when she says I spoke to them or they told me this, she's essentially saying it's text messages. I mean,
But no, Dan's was never filmed. Not that I know of.
I mean, I know there were some portions of the trial filmed, but
Yeah, but they showed clips of it on the news, but it wasn't. They never showed the whole thing.
Yeah, I haven't seen any.
The
video
live
on
chat
Dan,
disappeared. I wonder,
No, but he did
trial.
testify about at the appeal, and he talked about
I
having
wonder whether Sir Morbid took it down.
a sexual relationship with Gypsy, and ever since then, she's been trying to tell everyone that Dan killed her mom because she's mad at him.
Well,
That's
Very
what
odd.
what she does. Like, she accuses people of crimes when they piss her off.
Did you hear about what happened to Nick and his firing
Appeal?
Yeah.
What?
He fired his defense attorney, I guess, the public one, and I think the Supreme Court at the state level rejected his final appeal. So
Yeah, he's done.
he's cooked.
There's
Wait,
not the
does anyone know
Supreme
if he
Court.
actually fired his lawyer or not?
I don't know. The Supreme Court won't take his case. I know that.
Someone in the chat's asking Sir Morbid to watch Anxious Aunt. I don't know if
She definitely, so she knows, of course, she knows all that. They won't take on his case.
I think because they've been covering the Dan situation, and again, I don't care. I mean,
Dan, like, as much as people want to say that Dan was involved, he has no part of it. None. The only reason Dan keeps getting brought up is because Gypsy was like pitying.
yeah, and I kind
He was
of
using
feel
Dan as
bad
a
for the
weapon.
real Dan. That's
Thank
people
you.
who doxed him. I mean,
Yeah.
Because
really,
he wasn't involved in this crime.
Yeah,
The only reason
just-
it's brought up is because she used Dan to make Nick jealous, which is what she does with Brian and
Oh, I do my best. I sometimes forget that I'm live, and sometimes you hear the uncensored me.
Ken. And she's mad at him for testifying. So now she's dropping things to people in prison and to family members or whoever listens that Dan
Yeah.
was there and he wasn't there.
yeah, for sure.
It doesn't surprise me with Ryan and Ken though, because like especially since her relationship with Ken is based off of the fact that, and I know I've mentioned this a lot, but I'm still sticking firmly by this. But her entire relationship with Ken is based off the fact that she committed adultery.
Yep.
And yes, that does. And even if he wants to argue, or someone wants to argue that it happened while she was separated from Ryan, they're still legally married, and
Yeah, it
he's
doesn't-
having a kid with her and is in a relationship. So that still makes him a homewrecker. And these are unrelated to the show itself. So that's still home wrecking because they're still
Well,
legally married.
It is, well, and it's home wrecking because Christy brought him in to wreck the home because she wanted him back.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
horrible. That's a lot of people ended their friendships with Christy over that.
did Katie at one
Yes, and I'm sticking firmly by that.
I ended my friendship with Christy because of that.
Katie, at one point, did you believe that there were potentially, or recently, that there were potentially 3 people involved in the actual what happened to Dee Dee, basically?
Did I recently say that?
Yeah, was there? I'm just looking at chat. I'm just.
Oh, there was like a rumor that was being started. That's what I was saying. Was like Gypsy was floating this idea that there was 3 people involved, but there weren't 3 people involved.
Right. Okay. Just reading chat.
Yeah, I think people want to have the Dan theory out there, but trust me,
Dan,
that's not true.
It's not true, and it's not fair to Dan, right? Like, he's a real person, and that's a crime you don't want to put on someone's head that he wasn't involved in.
Right, and again, the detectives did a great job with the
They
interrogation.
did. If you actually watch Nick's trial with the forensic guy, and the medical examiner that did the autopsy, they did a very good job.
She must be nearly ready to get off because people are now, like, they're starting to talk about Dan. And I think somebody mentions the fact that she doxed him. She doxed Dan or something comes up. But I did hear that she ran. So
At the scene, like, there's only 3 people's DNA on that knife.
Yep, Gypsy, Dee Dee, and of course
Nick.
Nick.
Oh yeah. So why would how in the interrogation Nick said, "Oh yeah," he kept saying things like, "I'm the only one that kept it together," which would imply that there was like more than just him and Gypsy. And then he said the other thing that was very important. He said he would forgive everybody, but not. He'd apologize. Apologize.
Well, I'm pretty about Dan. Yeah,
Yeah. So how was he?
because it's the love triangle. She was threatening to have sex with him. She said, "Do you mind if I meet up with someone? I'm going to have sex. I'm going to meet up for
Yeah.
coffee." That's
Yeah.
why. It has nothing to do with Dan being there.
I
It's
just
Gypsy.
wondered.
Oh no, I'm just saying it's Gypsy playing games.
Yeah, it's just.
So she's always floating him above him to make him jealous.
Yeah, you would just think that. I don't know. It's quite.
He's like, I know people get stuck on really strange things about Dan, but Dan wasn't involved.
Well,
so.
people like to get a different outcome, especially with true crime. I mean, it's
Yeah.
with every case. I mean, Chris
I think they
Watts,
want to they want things to come out that like there's some sort of secret that needs to be unlocked, and I just frankly don't think there's a secret that needs to be that will be unlocked.
Yeah,
The-
I mean,
The crime scene is what the crime scene is. The DNA is what the
that's
DNA
why people
is.
have to have more respect for law enforcement and what they do, the hard work that they put in.
And they did they didn't get into all of the fraud, but the scene was thoroughly investigated. The forensics people did a great job. The medical examiner did a great job. It's the
And
crime
honestly,
scene.
Gypsy kind of tied it all together in a pretty bow for the detectives and law enforcement to figure out what exactly happened there. Terrible cleanup job. Horrible.
Yeah.
There was nothing. I mean, it was pretty much in the bag at that point. And
I mean, yeah, I mean,
they
and
got her
her
on
motive,
CCTV, etc.
yeah, I mean, her motive was never that her mom abused her. Her motive was that she couldn't be with Nick. And that's,
Who docs Dan?
Huh?
Did you docs Dan, Katie? So like the actual Dan.
could you stop asking me questions from the chat from these people?
That's what makes the show, though. The chat's
No,
like,
I'm not going to answer these questions, Charlotte. I didn't
well,
dox anyone.
I'm asking a question. I'm neutral here. I asked you a question because people keep saying it in the chat. So I'm asking you the question.
Why are you? I've asked repeatedly to not engage with these people that are intentionally trying to start things.
Well, it's a lot of people, so
yeah, it's the same 5 people. All right, good night,
It's the people
everyone.
that hate her, so you know.
Yeah,
it is
Charlotte,
what it is.
you stop. I'm asking you to stop.
I mean, Charlotte.
Okay, 3:54. 3:54. 3:54. All right. 3 hours, 54 minutes. Wow. Bye-bye.
Charlotte wouldn't have known.
I don't know. No, I don't.
What does that have to do with this topic?
Because we're talking about Dan and how unfair it was that, like, let's drop Dan, let's not speak about Dan. It's a shame that Dan was exposed, blah, blah, blah.
I put up his court records. I put up his court records.
I'm talking, Katie, just like when you were talking, you asked me to be quiet till you finished. Yeah, she's gone. There you go.
She's gone.
Well, I hope, Katie, you join us in this mission for
I should well
what
as
we
well.
came for, which is Gypsy filing false copyrights. As you know, on YouTube, it's terrible. And, you know, this is the type of behavior that we don't want to see. It's a big no-no when it comes to you.
Why would, you know how
I'll take it back for you.
Defense attorney, I guess, the public one. And I think the Supreme Court at the state level rejected his final appeal. So
Yeah, he's done.
he's cooked. Yeah.
There's
Like,
not the
I don't know if
Supreme
he
Court.
actually fired his lawyer or not.
I don't know. The Supreme Court won't take his case. I know that.
someone in the chat's asking Sir Morbid to watch Anxious Aunt? I don't know if
I think because
I'm
they've been covering the Dan situation. And again, I don't care. I mean,
Dan, like, as much as people want to say that Dan was involved, he has no part of it. None. The only reason Dan keeps getting brought up is because Gypsy was like pitting.
yeah, and I kind
He was
of
using
feel
Dan as
bad
a
for the
weapon.
real Dan. That's people
Yeah.
doxed him. I mean,
Yes,
really,
he wasn't involved in this crime.
Yeah,
The only reason
just-
it's brought up is because she used Dan to make Nick jealous, which is what she does with Brian and Ken. And she's mad at him for testifying. So now she's dropping things to people in prison and to family members or whoever listens that Dan
Yeah.
was there and he wasn't there.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't surprise me with Ryan and Ken though, because you know, like especially since her relationship with Ken is based off of the fact that, and I know I've mentioned this a lot, but I'm still sticking firmly by this. But her entire relationship with Ken is based off the fact that she committed adultery.
Yep.
And yes, that does.
Yeah, so the chat disappeared, so I can't go back. So we won't.
And
see it.
even if he wants to argue or someone wants to argue that it happened while she was separated from Ryan, they're still legally married, and
Yeah, it
he's
doesn't-
having a kid with her and is in a relationship. So that still makes him a homewrecker. And these are unrelated to the show itself. So that's still homewrecking because they're
Well,
still legally married.
It is, well, and it's home wrecking because Christy brought him in to wreck the home because she wanted him
Yes.
back. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
horrible. That's a lot of people ended their friendships with Christy over that.
Did Katie at one
Yes, and I'm sticking firmly by that.
I ended my friendship with Christy because of that.
Katie, at one point, did you believe that there were potentially, or recently, that there were potentially 3 people involved in the actual what happened to Dee Dee, basically?
Did I recently say that?
Yeah, was there? I'm just looking at chat. I'm just.
Oh, there was like a rumor that was being started. That's what I was saying. Was like Gypsy was floating this idea that there was 3 people involved, but there weren't 3 people involved.
Right. Okay. Just reading chat.
Yeah, I think people want to have the Dan theory out there, but
No,
trust me,
the Dan,
that's
yeah,
not
he
true.
was- it's not true, and it's not fair to Dan, right? Like
All Katie had to say was, "I put out the court records." That's all she had to say. She didn't need to. Her reaction made her sound like she was guilty of exactly
he's
that.
a real person, and that's a crime you don't want to put on someone's head that he wasn't involved in.
Right. And, you know, again, the detectives did a great job with the
They
interrogation.
did. If you actually watch Nick's trial with the forensic guy and the medical examiner that did the autopsy, they did a very good job at the scene. Like, there's only 3 people's DNA on that knife.
Yep. Gypsy, Dee Dee, and of course,
Nick.
Nick.
Oh yeah. So why would you know how in the interrogation, Nick said, "Oh yeah," he kept saying things like, "I'm the only one that kept it together," which would imply that there was like more than just him and Gypsy. And then he said the other thing that was very important. He said he would forgive everybody, but not He'd apologise. Sorry, apologise.
Well, I'm pretty about Dan. Yeah,
Yeah. So how was he?
because it's the love triangle.
Well, yes, of course, short order. She was, but rather than admit it, she's run.
She was threatening to have sex with him. She said, "Do you mind if I meet up with someone? I'm gonna have sex. I'm gonna meet up for coffee." That's why. It has nothing to do with Dan being there. It's Gypsy. Oh no, I'm just saying it's Gypsy playing games.
Yeah, it's just.
So she's always floating him above him to make him jealous.
Yeah, yeah. You would just think that. I don't know. It's quite.
He's like, I know people get stuck on really strange things about Dan, but Dan wasn't involved.
Well,
so.
people like to get a different outcome, especially with true crime. I mean, it's with every case. I mean,
I think they want things to come out that like there's some sort of secret that needs to be unlocked, and I just frankly don't think there's a secret that needs to be that will be unlocked.
Yeah,
I
mean,
the crime scene is what the crime scene is. The DNA is what the DNA is.
That's why people have to have more respect for law enforcement and what they do, the hard work that they put in.
And they did they didn't get into all of the fraud, but the scene was thoroughly investigated. The forensics people did a great job. The medical examiner did a great job. You know,
and honestly, Gypsy kind of tied it all together in a pretty bow for the detectives and law enforcement to figure out what exactly happened there. Terrible cleanup job. Horrible.
Yeah.
There was nothing. I mean, it was pretty much in the bag at that point. And
and
they got her on CCTV, etc.
Yeah, I mean, her motive was never that her mom abused her. Her motive was that she couldn't be with Nick, and that's
who docs Dan.
We're looking at 3 hours. So again, this is Sir Morbids. So if you go to his channel, you go to this area. This is the doxing Dan. All right, everybody, here we go. For those of you that are going to create videos, this is the timestamp you need for this clip.
Huh?
Did you dox Dan, Katie? So like the actual Dan.
Could you stop asking me questions from the chat from these people?
That's what makes the show, though. The chat's.
No, I'm not going to answer these questions, Charlotte. I didn't dox anyone.
I'm asking a question. I'm neutral here. I asked you a question because people keep saying it in the chat. So I'm asking you the question.
Why are you? I've asked repeatedly to not engage with these people that are intentionally trying to start things.
Well, it's a lot of people. So
it's the same 5 people. All right, good night, everyone.
People that hate her, so you know.
Yeah, Charlotte, you need to stop. I'm asking you to stop.
I mean, Charlotte wouldn't have known.
I don't know. No, I don't.
What does that have to do with this topic?
Because we're talking about Dan and how unfair it was that, like, let's drop Dan, let's not speak about Dan. It's a shame that Dan was exposed, blah, blah, blah.
I put up his court records. I put up his court records.
I'm talking, Katie, just like when you were talking, you asked me to be quiet till you finished. Yeah, she's gone. There you go.
Well, I hope, Katie, you join us in this mission for what we came for, which is Gypsy filing false copyrights. As you know, on YouTube, it's terrible. And, you know, this is the type of behavior that we don't want to see. It's a big no-no when it comes to YouTube content creators. And it sucks because it truly
all right, let me just go back
sort of
to
needed to solidify creators that covered the community together, and that is a wonderful thing. It's a really brilliant thing because everybody here, even if, like Morbid said, even if we don't all,
I'm actually on your side on that whole cult thing. 7M.
He's we did depositions. I can't speak the specifics, but I'll just say they didn't do well. And there's not much left before we do what we're gonna do. But like there's no way he's gonna win because I didn't make up what I recorded, and he's suing me about stuff that other people said about him. So it's just stupid.
Crazy. Wow.
I know
his son is unfortunately a waste of talent. That his son is.
I know.
Really...
So there you go. That's where that is mentioned.
It should fall under fair use. So that's really that's all you have to say, and you don't have to be super detailed. I mean, they give you like 5,000 words, but you just have to say like I'm providing.
Yeah, I mean, you could be short, but I would be as detailed as possible. I would talk about my attorney. My attorney advised me on this. I'm willing to go to court to fight this. And YouTube would be like, okay, go to court.
Here's the thing. Very easily, quickly.
Okay, well, whatever. I don't care. I just know that she's covering Gypsy, and that's all that I care about right now.
The other thing the trolls like to do is accuse me of crimes I haven't committed. They are generally from fundamentalist cults. They support cult leaders. They support criminals. So they're usually just accusing me of things that they're doing. So just if they're accusing me of something, that's probably them committing the crime.
And I'm just a host, man. It's like
I honestly ignore them. They don't. I don't even.
Well, I just wanted to point that out because I was seeing some comments. And I was just relax.
So I mean, as you guys know, I was involved in a documentary that was on Netflix, and so a lot of the trolls right now are like amped up by that cult leader because he's suing me. And so
my uncle,
Robert Shin, and so they think
she doesn't get it. He says my uncle. You see, she doesn't get it. She didn't get the joke. Anyway, it's nearly 12:30 here, so I probably should go to bed. just something interesting that I saw. Just want to show you something that I saw. Oh, it's gone. Oh no, back here. From Melanie Wilkin, and which I thought was very interesting. She's doing a did Cactus Bill lose hers too? Interesting. Melanie Wilkin is doing a masterclass. Now, they posted her profile. They posted a profile on there. And I saw it before. And it said that she is well known for the documentary Dancing for the Devil. And I thought that is how she has got now she's a master choreographer now. Doesn't she look like Miranda here, in my opinion? And she's struck on TikTok too? Wow. Yeah. So I'm trying to find the profile of the company that she was doing the thing for, because yeah, they did a profile on her, and I actually got really a bit annoyed because saying if you're in the DMV area, come dance with me. That's right. It was Advanced Ava Dance Co. Let me just see if I can find Ava Dance Co. Because everybody else has benefited very much so from this. Here we go. Where are we? It says Melanie is a professional dancer, choreographer, teacher, and social media content creator. She has danced for artists such as Jason Derulo, Bruno Mars, Iggy Azalea, has worked with brands of Amazon, Nike, MAC Cosmetics, and more. She was recently featured in Netflix documentary Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult, and has a prominent following with over 3 million followers on TikTok. Her extensive training and expertise allows her to work with dancers of all levels, from beginner to advanced performers, and guide them through their goals and work with their visions. Now, interestingly, so there you go. But the fact is she's using the 7M documentary as now clout to get what she wants, which I think is very, very interesting. So, oops, I don't want to do that. And she's talking about, and like she writes in here, these are my opinions, my thoughts, and my years of research about the IPLRP, I suppose. She says, I love it when Duggar huggers get triggered by facts. Jim Bob truly believed he could marry Jenna and erase everything that his daughters have experienced and the they have endured. Jim Bob has chosen a son who has hurt women and children over his own daughters. Josh is in prison for his heinous acts against children. Janet is married now, and that does not change anything he's done. He's ripped his family apart, turned them all against a daughter, Jill, who chose to speak her truth. Jill and Janet's relationship was destroyed as a result. Jill was at the wedding but has written about Jim Bob poisoning her siblings against her. Jill and Jana were best of friends until Jill was married. How does that bond break so easy? Because a malignant narcissist like Jim Bob told the entire family that Jill was dangerous. Jill refused to keep the forced labour and essay a secret in the family. Well, they've got forced labour now. Jill told her parents what Josh did to her, what she witnessed him do to her sisters. Jill also hired a lawyer to get paid on the show, along with agreeing to dissuade against her if needed. Jill and Ginger publicly spoke about Jim Bob not allowing Janet to leave until she was married, despite her age of 34 years old. Jim Bob had to win the narrative, and I believe he thought this wedding would change everything. Janet is married, but nothing erases the 34 years indentured service to her family. Father, Jim Bob stole that from her. These are my opinions, my thoughts, and my years of research about the IBLP. I suppose Ginger and Jill are liars too. I guess the documentary about the Duggars are a lie too. I know what I don't. I know what I don't. Do I? I don't hide behind religion to hide. I don't hide behind religion to hide devious behavior. I don't need a religion to be a good person. I don't break laws or subjugate women. That's the IBLP, not me. So there you go. Did I break some Melanie news? What? Oh, yeah, I did too, didn't I? IBL buzzwords. That this was the language shoved down our throats growing up. She goes, I enjoyed wicked and deceitful. So yes, so anyway. All right, I'm going to have to leave now because I need to go to bed. I've got to get up early for work. I didn't expect everything to take so long. That's all right. That's what I do. Yeah. So, look, hopefully that has helped. Why doesn't she just admit that she did it? The whole fact that she ran off the panel is childish, in my opinion. Anyway, I hope to see you again soon. Yes, and yeah, if you could hit like and subscribe. I'm going to continue to grow this channel, and hopefully YouTube realizes that I'm valuable to the community and I deserve some remuneration. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.